Hello and welcome to the Big Sleep In live here from me. As always, technology is always going to challenge us, and therefore we are running a few minutes late. But fear not, I will be with you in a short while for an amazing event nonetheless. The York Road Project are here to support the community of Woking and, of course, the surrounding areas. And we know that the community do always come together to support us and, of course, celebrate our amazing work within the community. So without further ado, do not go anywhere because I will be with you in a short while and I'll be joined by none other than our Chief Executive, Kath Stamper, in a short while too, to take you through what York Road Project do and how we can, of course, support the local community during their time in need. So don't go anywhere. We've got an action-packed evening, and of course, we'll also be live over on Radio Woking as well. So stay there, relax, and we'll be back in a short while. Hello and welcome to the Big Sleep In. We're just moments away from starting off this incredible event. If you want to get involved, you can. All you've got to do is email us your video messages. Email them to info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. That's info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. This is the Big Sleep In from York Road Project. Do not go anywhere. Hello and welcome to York Road Project's Big Sleep In, and a huge thank you to everybody that has joined us thus far. We're just waiting for the room to fill up now with a number of people, and of course then we will be getting on with the event. So the whole important part of the event is to challenge yourself and immerse yourself in the homelessness experience. So bear with us one moment. What we're doing right now is making sure that everybody's got the link. We're making sure that everybody's on and that we are quick fire and ready to roll. It's absolutely incredible. We cannot wait to enjoy an evening with you. We've got some incredible performances from none other than local singer and songwriter Abba Canilli, and of course the incredible Colour Blind Monks. They are unbelievable, and you really, really do not want to miss out because they are truly sensational. They're fantastic performers. So they will be with us as well. Kath is almost ready for you. Let's stay right here, and of course we will be kicking off with some information about York Road Project, and of course finding out all about, well, the many years that Kath has been with the charity, doing fantastic work supporting the local community. It goes without saying, obviously, Woking is a fantastic community. We've also got some incredible messages of support from local businesses and people in the area as well. And like I said, if you want to send us your messages, you can simply send them via email. Simply send them to info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. Right, Kath is with us. Hello, Kath.
Hi, Stephen, and hi, everybody else.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And of course, you're on your sofa at the moment. Are you ready to bunker down on the floor with your roll mat and good to go for the big sleep in?
I am. Well, I'd like to think I was ready to go, but I think as the night goes on and I get tireder and tireder, I might hit the floor before the end of this event.
Well, let's just hope we have enough entertainment and things that will keep you alive and kicking. If not, well, let's hope you've got a flask with some coffee there so that you can keep yourself awake.
Yes, I'm sure I will have the coffee on tap all evening.
Fabulous. So, Kath, without further ado, then I'm going to put you on big screen. Tell us about York Road Project, and of course, we cannot forget that usually at this time of the year we're out on the streets doing a big sleep out. We can't do that due to COVID-19. So, if you could touch upon that as well, that'd be great. But I'm going to disappear whilst I go and do my magic in the background, and I'll hand over to you.
Well, hello everybody, and it's so odd to be doing it from my sofa. Normally at this point I would be standing up in front of you wearing about 17 layers, probably on today's weather I'd have my waterproofs on as well, and we'd be standing out in Woking in the dark, and I'd be talking about why we were doing this event. So whilst it's a bit surreal sitting here, in many ways it's the same thing. I'm going to sit here and say why we're doing this event. Obviously, we're indoors and not outdoors because of COVID, but it's essential that we continue to raise awareness of our cause and recognising that whilst we're all struggling with COVID, we're all finding it incredibly difficult. It's a new way of working, of living, of missing our family and friends. But also imagine if you didn't have anywhere to live. And so what we decided to do was the big sleep in. And whilst it's never going to be the same, we thought if everybody sleeps anywhere in their house or garden or wherever, but not in their bed, they get a tiny, tiny, tiny example of what it is just to sleep anywhere other than your bed. So Woking has had a night shelter in it since 2001. The shelter on York Road was born, but prior to that, some people from the local churches were doing soup runs and things like that. So what happened is the need for somewhere for people to sleep was recognised, and the shelter opened, and from that time, that was 2001, it has grown immensely. And so now we have the shelter, we have a day centre, we have 5 move-on properties with a 6th about to come online, we have outreach team, we have move-on properties, and really what's happening is we have to grow to meet the need, and that's where you guys come in, because without the community we wouldn't exist. And I'm not talking about cold hard cash, I'm talking about your support, your understanding, your compassion to people if you see them rough sleeping, And I think Woking is astonishing. I've worked homelessness in Guildford for many years before coming to Woking 8 years ago, and I'm just constantly on a daily basis amazed by the support we get. And particularly now with COVID, it's been somewhat challenging. So lockdown hit on March 23rd, and overnight we tripled our beds. We went from 31 beds and just grew and grew and grew. And we took over ultimately the Woking Hotel. Instead of 11 beds in the night shelter, we went to 33 beds there, and with the same staff team. And the team have been incredible, and it's been tough. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to make it to be something it isn't. It's been very hard work. We've been dealing with people who probably would never ever come anywhere near us because they'd be able to sort themselves out. So we're used to a certain number and type of client, but what we found were people directly affected by COVID. So the relationship breakdowns, the people who are self-employed, but suddenly their work stopped and they were sleeping in vans. The people who were working on building sites, but in sort of insecure sort of tenancies, and landlords against government law, evicted illegally. And so we were just faced by almost an onslaught of really vulnerable and scared people. But we've maintained it, and we're still full. Woking Borough Council have taken the decision that regardless of whether the government has ended the Everybody In campaign, Woking has decided let's keep housing people. So every time we get a void, we are getting somebody else in. But what I would say is that 95% of the people who've been through the hotel have been from Woking. They've got a local housing connection to Woking. We prioritise Woking first and foremost. And that is our absolute aim, always to be a local charity supporting local people. And we haven't shipped, for want of a better word, any of those people in need out of the borough to accommodation elsewhere. We've kept everybody here. And if we went out of beds, we used beds in the Travelodge, anything to keep people off the streets and keep them safe. So it has been tough, but we put please out, or Stephen did mainly, please out on Twitter, please out on the website, and said, help, we're running short of this. We need that. Can somebody help? And they're always responded to. And it's just fantastic. I've worked in several homeless organisations, and I have to say, I'm biased, obviously. York Road Project is definitely the best. It's a unique place, and I love it.
I think, what's evident, Kath, is that so many people in the local community come out and show their support during people's time in need. And Woking's community is absolutely fantastic. I know that later on you're going to be talking about a potential story, but I know that you've got so many to tell in your career. What's kind of been a standout moment for you? I mean, obviously, being with the charity for so long, you must have seen people that have gone through the support and come out the other end. Tell us about a story and a moment that you've kind of managed to kind of hold on to.
Yeah, I think one is one of my most favourites is a few years ago. So there was I'm going to sound like I'm tarring everybody with the same brush, but this guy was quite stereotypical, I think, of people's views of what a homeless person looks like. And he did have quite an extensive drug habit. He looked a bit like a cage fighter, had no teeth, his nose was broken, and he was all front. And so he spent a long time shouting and screaming, and it took a long time. He came in and out of the shelter, kept kicking him out, and then he kept coming back in, and on and on and on. Anyway, finally something clicked, and he went through our Move On properties, and he left us. He went off and got himself, we helped him get himself settled. And then I was standing outside the Prop Day Centre on Goldsworth Road one day, and all of a sudden this quite little sweet bright yellow car pulls up outside, and this former client jumped out and gave me a hug. And he was working, he was back in touch with his family and his kids, and he felt that without us he would never have achieved it. And it just shows you what can be achieved. People make changes, and this is something that's really important to us at York Road Project. We believe that people can change, and we're not one striking you out. If you may come through the night shelter 17 times, and on the 18th time it clicks. it's taken years and years to get to that situation where you're with us. So we're not going to be able to support you to make those changes in just a couple of weeks. People do really well. They may be with us 6 months into one of our houses, and then something happens, and the past trauma flares up, and they go off the rails again. But that doesn't matter, because we'll help them again when they come back round, or pick them up through that and hold their hands through it. And the chap who I was talking about in the yellow car, it just makes me smile. And sometimes I'll walk down the streets and bump into somebody. I don't recognise them because they put on weight and they just look healthy and happy, and it's just fantastic. And more people sort themselves out with our support than don't. And I think that's really important, that everybody remembers it. I mean, even in the first 4 months of COVID, when we'd had 90 people go through the hotel beds and the ones in the Travelodge, within those 4 months, we've moved on 36% of them into their own independent accommodation, with a lot of thanks from Woking Borough Council. But this shows that we can move people, with help from everybody, and people want to make changes in their lives. In some respects, COVID has been actually quite helpful to some people, because it's focused their minds. They've realised that when you've got such a serious situation in the world, maybe that is what the sort of push that they need to realise that they've got to really embrace the support and face their demons. Trauma is probably the cause of all the problems with about 95% of our clients. It isn't drug and alcohol problems that causes the problem. It's the trauma that causes the drug and alcohol problems.
Indeed, and you touched upon it there. Obviously, tonight's event isn't just about raising money. It's about raising awareness of the fact that many people live just 2 paychecks away from experiencing homelessness. And that is the harsh reality. Trauma, from bereavement to breakups in relationship, can affect individuals and can, of course, obviously contribute to homelessness. Kath, recently, obviously, we've had our amazing harvest campaign. A shout out to everybody out there that has shown their support, but especially a shout out to this amazing school in Bisley. And I just wanted to share some amazing photographs of something that came through to us at our temporary centre in the HG Wells. I mean, look at that. The Bisley school created a whole, well, it looks like a wall of cards and messages of support for us, and their message there, with love and best wishes from Eagles Class, Bisley, the Church of England Primary, which is just lovely. But again, there's been so many churches, faith group, community groups, etc., that have come forward and shown their support. And we'll be showing you some more photos and bits and bobs throughout this evening. Now, a question that's come in, Kath, surrounding the kind of work that we do. This one here, quite a difficult question, but one that obviously most definitely we should talk about. I was told by a friend that people in Woking Town Centre holding signs are not really homeless. Is this true? But more to the point, from me, I think, what would people do, or should people do in that case when they're approached by somebody with a sign?
So I think there's very few, serious beggars in terms of need in Woking Town, because they can get help with us. We can feed them, we can help with clothing, with showers, with all of that stuff. What I think probably maybe what the question's about is the men who have the cardboard signs, which don't actually say homeless, they say helpless on. And we did a lot of work investigating this, I think either earlier in this year or the end of last year. And what actually came to be seen is that they're sort of victims of modern day slavery. And so a lot of work's been done with the police, with Woking Borough Council and the Salvation Army, who are the agency in the country that deal with victims of modern day slavery. So what happens is they're being brought in by van and deposited, and their job basically is to get money off sort of people in the town who want to help. And the difficult for us is that their handlers are around, and they later in the day they will be picked up and taken out of the borough. They are not from Woking, I will say. So what we had was postcards. We got them made up in different languages, and so that we could offer them help by giving them a telephone number to call. It's a very difficult situation. There's some very really unkind people out there making money out of the misery of others. However, we do have people coming in and begging maybe outside the station. And what I would say is they're probably not from Woking, and they may not be homeless. We spot quite a few who we'll get reports of who actually we know aren't homeless, and we know they live in Guildford or somewhere. Woking's a very lucrative place to beg. Our advice always is a really kind smile, a nice word, say good morning. And if you wish to help them in any way and by buying something, a cup of coffee, a sandwich, what we would ask is you don't give money. The reason for this is that the money could then be spent on something a lot more harmful for them, or that money could be going into the hands of a trafficker. Another thing to do is call us. Absolutely call us. Call us as soon as you possibly can. Website has got our number on, very easy to find. As soon as you call us, our outreach team will get out there as fast as they can and make contact and see if they need help. And if they're not from the area, we would help returning them, give them a train fare to get back to wherever they come from. Because it could be some people, they come into the area and then get a bit stuck because they haven't got the train fare to get back, and we'll help with that. Of course, some people have said to me, it's my right to do whatever I want with my money, and absolutely it is. But maybe it's about thinking about the bigger picture of finding a different way to help somebody than just giving money. So that's my suggestion, is these particular ones may not be homeless, they may be being trafficked.
Another question that's came in from Debbie is, thank you, Debbie, for this question. When do you see things returning to normal? Well, bit of a hard one, that, Kath, but I'll leave that one to you.
I would like to say it's going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be tomorrow. I don't know. This is a question we ponder quite a lot. And in fact, only today with a colleague, we were sat and saying, when is this going to stop? I can't see it changing much before the new year in spring. It is very likely that we're going to remain in HG Wells for at least until probably March. One of the reasons about that, though, is that our original night shelter in York Road is too small in our communal areas to social distance, so we couldn't have the numbers that we have in now. It just seems like it's on just ongoing. But what I would say, if we all wash our hands, I feel like I can do the government thing now, you know, face, space, whatever the other one was, and really just we need to look after each other and recognise that it is important to put our face coverings on and look after each other. We are very, very fortunate, and this is a testament to my team in a lot of respects. We have not had a single confirmed case of COVID amongst the York Road Project staff or our clients. And we expected to see it because our clients, a lot of them will have underlying health conditions, particularly chest infections. And so I am so pleased that hasn't happened. We've managed to get through this far, touch wood. But I don't know, until there's a vaccine, and then who do you prioritise to give the vaccine to first? Our clients, they won't be on top of the priority. They will probably be at the bottom. And so, I don't know, this time next year, the year after Christmas.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Well, we never know. Of course, things are always going to be changing. But yes, like you said, space and all the rest of it. we should have had the hand, space. There we go. I literally mind blanked then. One last question then, before we give all the instructions on how you join the big quiz for the big sleep in. I'm just gonna quickly scroll through and find an easy one. Here we go. Here's an easy one. What can the community locally do to support YRP?
Okay, so the first thing to do is always, if you see somebody who you believe is homeless, call us. That's the very first thing to do. As I said earlier, the quicker we can get to somebody and make contact, the quicker we can help them off the streets and out of the situation. Secondly would be, talk to anybody who's interested about what we do. Tell them about the services we have and how important it is, even in a reasonably affluent place like Surrey, how many people we help, and talk about the wider issue of homelessness in the country. And I used to say homelessness is not just for Christmas, but now I think that it's become quite out there. People have become much more aware about it through COVID, and it's a really good time to keep that dialogue going. Keep talking about us. Keep talking about homelessness. Read the data if you want, and obviously on a much more local level is how can you help in terms of donations? We have a website that has an up-to-date list on it. There's an Amazon wish list. We can get the link off that off the website as well. And sometimes just give us a call and say, is there any way I can help? The problem we have at the moment with the HG Wells being down there is we just don't have the storage space. So we're having to be very fussy on what donations we can take. So whereas we'd normally have a lot more, I don't know, coats and boots in the day centre, we just can't store it. So we're quite specific. So it's always best to call us. And if for any reason you can't help us in any way, again, just smile, come past and say hello to us. That'd be really good.
Yeah, it's nice, obviously, just to see people pop by, even spreading the word. Even if you're watching the stream right now, you can literally retweet or you can share it with your friends and family via WhatsApp or anywhere else that you can get it out to. So please do spread the word, get the message out that York Road Project are here doing amazing things amongst the community. Kath, thank you so much. We are a bit pressed for time, so I'm going to let you go and get yourself ready for the quiz. And of course, everybody, thank you very much, Kath. And everybody, obviously, that is currently watching, of course, the quiz is available for you to get involved in, and those registered have the opportunity to, of course, win a prize. So if you haven't already registered, quickly register now at yorkroadproject.org.uk. It's £5 for adults over the age of 18 and free for children. And of course, once you've registered, go to myquiz.org and use the quiz code 534799. That's 534799. And the quiz will be starting in a short while indeed. Now, of course, if you've just joined us, this is the Big Sleep In, and anything can happen. And we were supposed to be crossing over very shortly to a message from the mayor that will be coming up. It may be coming up tomorrow morning, so I will keep you in the loop throughout the show. But of course, lots of things to come, including a performance from local singer-songwriter Abby Keneally, and she'll be joining me on the line to inspire you on how to write and potentially perform your own song related to homelessness and rough sleeping. And we'll also have incredible performance from Alex and Phoebe, the siblings that are part of the incredible band, local again, the Colourblind Monks. So all that and more here at York Road Project's Big Sleep In. And a reminder, obviously, Sleep In is here purely because we normally sleep out. And of course, COVID-19 means that there are many restrictions stopping us from doing that. So this is our safe place. So hopefully you can get involved and challenge yourself to sleep on the floor, just sleep in any room other than your bedroom. Or maybe you're brave enough to be sleeping out in the garden. But we've got lots of messages and things coming in, and a huge thank you to you all for getting involved. And also a reminder that we will be live from Radio Woking at 8 p.m. through the night. So I'm going to be doing a 13-hour, oh, I must be mad, 13 hours of fundraising on Radio Woking, and that's from 8 p.m. So yes, if you've just joined us and you want to get involved, myquiz.org, that's myquiz.org, and use the quiz code 534799. That's 534799, and the quiz is just starting. Here we go. So it's quiz time. If you've just tuned in, thank you very much for joining in. And of course, it is too late to register for the quiz, but you can play along at home. I'm going to be bringing you all of the questions here right now. So which singer starred in The Bodyguard? Well, of course, that answer there. And don't go anywhere. This is right. What's the first rule of Fight Club? Never drink before Fight Club or never talk about Fight Club. Well, I think it's never talk about Fight Club. Am I right? There we go. I got that one right. Never talk about Fight Club. Now, who played Jack in Titanic? Oh, it was Leonardo DiCaprio. I know that one. Did you know that one? There we go. Right. So there we go. I'm not going to give you any more answers, but play along at home and you can see the questions coming up. Those that have registered are playing along. And of course, in the lead right now, we have Molly. Currently, the Groovers are behind just slightly. So good luck. Oh, banana. There we go. That's the question. Which 2020 film starred Robert Downey Jr.? Oh, there we go. Right. Which movie star is killed off in the opening scene of Scream? Is it Pamela Anderson or Drew Barrymore? Oh, I don't know that one. But it looks like you lot do. Thank you very much for answering. I can see all your answers coming in. There we go. Directed by Guy Ritchie, who plays the genie in the 2019 adaptation of Aladdin? Is it Will Smith or Sean Connery? Is it Will Smith? I'm going to select Will Smith. I have no idea. It was Will Smith. There we go. Right, in the movie Frozen, which song does Elsa sing as she builds a castle? Let it go or let it snow? Let it go? Oh, it's Let It Snow, isn't it? I've selected the wrong one. There we go. This is the Big Sleep In quiz. Those that have registered are playing along right now and currently in the lead. The Groovers have taken the lead. Molly in second place and Banana in third place. Quizzy Rascals 41 in fourth place and me at the bottom. But I'm not playing along. I'm not allowed. There we go. What's the name of the Hobbit? It is Frodo Baggins. What flavour Pop-Tarts does Elf Buddy use in his spaghetti? Is it tangerine or chocolate? It's chocolate, isn't it? My favourite. Pop-Tarts. What happened to those? Are they still on sale? Who knows? Here we go. On what day is Frank Capra Classic? It's a Wonderful Life set. Is it Christmas Eve or Wednesday? Is it about Christmas or Wednesday? I think it's about Christmas. There we go. Is it Christmas, though? That's the big question. And it is. Yes, it is. It's Christmas. Which Ben and Matt co-wrote Good Will Hunting? Is it Ben Ding and Ben Crabb, or Will Crabb, or is it Ben Affleck and Matt Damon? Ben Ding. Oh, I love it. Which actress won the Best Actress award at the Oscars in 2019? Is it Vanessa Feltz or Olivia Colman? I think it's Olivia Colman. Right, play along, watch the screen and keep going. We're going to be back in a short while. This is the big quiz for the Big Sleep In. So if you're just joining us, this is the Big Sleep In, and currently we're going through the quiz. Those registered are playing along for the quiz, and the Groovers are in the lead with 129 points. Molly following with 121 points, and the Quizzy Rascals therefore following thereafter with 108 points. Team Dean are also in there with 42, and of course there's all to play for, so continue to play along. Simply play along right now, and you could be in for a chance to win a prize if you've registered. But fear not, we've still got the raffle to come up, and of course you can get your raffle tickets now by heading over to yorkroadproject.org.uk and clicking on events. Also a reminder that we will be live from Radio Woking at 8 p.m, where we've got lots of music and all sorts to come, so don't go anywhere. This is the Big Sleep In. Usually during the quizzes, we do like to play a little bit of music. This is the music round, by the way, if you're watching along. I do apologise, we can't bring you any music other than the musicians that are performing on the show. And this is due to basically music rights. YouTube, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms have locked down on this. So we cannot bring you music of anything other than our performances. So we do have two amazing performers coming up in a short while. This is the Big Sleep In, where we're going to be talking about homelessness. We are going to be talking about the work that we're doing at York Road Project to support those experiencing homelessness in Woking and obviously rehabilitate them into their own accommodations. All that and more here on the Big Sleep In. Really do appreciate your joining us this evening. And of course, if you're joining us for the first time, thank you. Thank you for coming along and showing your support to find out more about York Road Project. Now, if you're watching the screen at the moment, they are playing a quiz at the moment. So what they're doing at the moment is they're just going through the rounds of the quiz. You can play along at home by keeping an eye on the screen and seeing where things are. Of course, be great to see you stay with us at 8 o'clock. Going to be joined by an incredible performer, local to the town, Woking, and of course with lots of experience singer-songwriting. So Abba Keneally will be joining me 8 o'clock, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing a fantastic range of music that she's recorded for us to keep you entertained, and then we're going to go heading into an activity where we're going to get you to write your own song or poem. And we're going to be giving you some top tips and talking to you about how you could potentially be inspired to create your own song. So, yeah, really looking forward to that. I know that Abby is too. I can see Abby in the green room, raring to go as well. She's even had her hair done for the occasion by the looks of it. So she wants to. So we're ready. We're ready to roll. But do play along the quiz, and of course, stay right here for the big Sleep In from York Road project. To find out more about York Road project and the work that we're doing to defeat homelessness in Woking and the surrounding areas, head over to yorkroadproject.org.uk. That's as simple as that, yorkroadproject.org.uk. And of course, you can be absolutely fantastic and show us some love there as well by clicking on donate. You can find out more other ways to give to us as a charity. And like Kath said earlier on, it's not just about providing us money. If you can share the love by spreading the word about what we do, then that goes a hell of a long way to supporting us and, of course, helping us to help them during their time in need. Right, I'm going to be quiet for a short moment. We are currently at question 39 of 79 questions, and currently the Groovers are in the lead. Yes, the Groovers are in the lead with 232 points. Wow, incredible. Who sang the 1965 James Bond Thunderball? I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. But Team Dean thinks she knows the answer, and of course Banana and the Groovers do too. 237 points now, the Groovers in the lead. Oh, I wonder who the Groovers are. I'm curious to know who the Groovers are. You didn't put your name, but we'll surely find out if you win, because the Quizzy Rascals and Molly. Oh, it's kind of bouncing now. Molly is now in the lead. Molly has taken the lead. Wow. Molly, you are an intelligent one. Banana, where are you? There we go. Well, anything can happen during this quiz. Banana right down at the bottom there. Team Dean is taking over, slowly but surely creeping up that leaderboard as well, which is really good to see. So we'll see. There's me right down the bottom. I'm not playing along. Obviously, I can't take part, but I'm there just so that you can see what's going on and, of course, be more involved. Right, I'm going to be quiet for a few moments. yorkroadproject.org.uk is the website to head over to find out more information. And, of course, we'll be back in a short while with the incredible singer-songwriter, performances, and, of course, the activity, Abercrombie. Wow, in the lead, taking the lead by 1 point. Molly, come on now. It's all to play for. You could win an incredible ticket for 5 people to the local golf, pirate golf course from Mulligan's. Come on now, who's going to win? Wow, the competition is going very, very well indeed. Molly is now back in the lead, 334 points. Quizzy Rascals, 333 points. It's all to play for. Anything can happen. 1 point between them. 1 point. I mean, I just can't believe this. I've never seen a quiz so tight in my life. And also, the Groovers could take over as well. I mean, they're doing really well. And even Team Dean. It's all still going on. 63 out of 79. And of course, we'll be back in about 9 minutes' time with the incredible Abercrombie. So don't go anywhere. This is York Road Project's Big Sleeping. This is York Road Project's Big Sleep In, and the quiz is still going on, but with me now in the background, Abby Canelli. Abby, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Of course we can. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Are you excited to be performing for us for the Big Sleep In?
I am. I've been super excited about it all week. I can't believe we're here already. So yes, can't wait.
You've got some incredible performances coming up, and I cannot wait to share them with the audience. Of course, if you are tuned in, please be sure to share at the website link and, of course, our YouTube or Twitter with everybody, because we've got an incredible performance coming up, and it's going to be, I just can't wait. It's going to be crazy. Abby, being that you're not playing the quiz because you're preparing, but are you any good at quizzes?
Not at all.
So if I ask you the next question then, what is the currency of Sweden? Is it krona, peseta or dollar?
Oh my God. I'll go for A.
Krona,
Krona.
right. You said krona. Oh dear. It is, it's krona. Well done. And what's the name of the largest airport in Amsterdam? Is it the Schiphol, the Stolmen, or the Pothead?
B.
The Stolmen, right? You're saying Stolmen. Is it Stolmen? Here we go. No, it's the Schiphol.
No. All right. Okay, I'm really guessing here.
Okay, what's the capital of New Zealand? Is it Queenstown, Christchurch, or Wellington?
That's Christchurch. No.
Well, you said Christ. You would have clicked Christchurch. It's
Queenstown.
It's not. It's Wellington.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, that is terrible.
That's horrendous.
Okay. How many states are there in Australia?
C.
Oh no! I pressed the wrong one. It was. Oh, I pressed the right one.
Thank you.
I helped you out there. Okay. What African country has the largest population? Is it Nigeria, Kenya, or Morocco?
Oh, shall I go for Kenya?
Kenya, right, here we go. Is it Kenya? No, it's Nigeria.
Oh my God, this is bad.
Well, guess what? In the lead with the quiz, Groovers, 416 points. Team Dean up the rear there with 415. And Molly sneaking place with 413. There's all to play for here.
Oh my God, they are good at this.
They are very, very good at this. But we're on the last question. And, of course, we're now at the results. Can you see these results on screen?
Wow.
They're absolutely incredible. The Groovers there with 423 points. Groovers, get in contact with us. Let us know who you are, because I'm very, very keen to find out who the Groovers are. Are they a family that's registered to the Big Sleep In that have played together? If so, your quiz knowledge has done really well. Molly there at 418 points. Well done. You were leading most of the time until you got to geography. So Molly, head to Geography College. And Team Dean, they were trailing at the beginning, and then, wow, did they do well at that music quiz? Well, no giveaway there. Team Dean must be the incredible queen of high definition. The high definition, I'm going crazy. The queen of high energy. We are definitely going to into the show for some just an amazing night. I'll tell you what, I'm going absolutely bonkers today because it's been a long day already, and of course now we've got the Big Sleep In to do, and we're coming up to your amazing and incredible performances. But before, obviously, we head into those performances, we're just going to wait now for everybody to join us back here on the live stream and enjoy those performances. Abby, when I asked you to kind of be involved in the event, I can remember you saying to me, yes, this is my way of getting out there, getting in the community, and really kind of understanding what we do at York Road Project as a charity. And the one thing that I noticed about you was that you really kind of took on board everything I said, and you kind of went away and went, wow, like, really? I didn't think about that. And of course, I think there's so many people out there doing the same thing. They don't necessarily associate certain things with homelessness. what were you kind of coming into this with? Kind of, and how did what I said to you maybe change your perceptions?
Well, for me, it's just something that, conversations triggers, they trigger feelings. And I remember when we spoke, I was at home thinking about my own little bubble world of problems. And for a second, I decided to deliberately stop and think about what it must feel like to be homeless. And suddenly I immersed myself into that and really felt it. And I grabbed the pen and paper and I started writing a song about it. And it was actually a very important moment of my life, I must say, because up until then, I always felt as if something would trigger my thoughts and then my feelings, and I would be able to write. I always thought it was something external that would cause that. At that moment, I deliberately wanted to feel try to feel what it was like to be homeless. So I actually triggered that feeling by what you said to me. And I managed to write a song about it. And it was really quite moving for me, very therapeutic as well. So yes, that's how it all happened that day.
It's just incredible. We do have indeed that performance coming up in a little while during our activity section. People are still coming on from the quiz. Thank you so much for tuning in now and becoming part of the Big Sleep In. Of course, please do share and like the posts and streams and things that you see coming out now, because without further ado, I think we should play the first performance then from Abercrombie. And I think, because we've received 4 incredible tracks that we're able to play for you, and then we're going to go into the activity and Abby's going to perform the song that she wrote specially for the Big Sleep In live. I think we're going to kick off then with a song that I love. It's a song that well, if just listen to the lyrics. This is River Flowing. Tell everybody about this song, Abby. Go on, because you're the
Well, it's about a love story, but I wanted to relate that to the elements, to the water, the fire, the earth, and the wind. So it tells a story of somebody who met, they met each other and fell in love, and they went separate ways. I think it happens a lot in life with all of us at some stage that happens, but it was such a beautiful moment. I thought, I must write about it. So that is River Flowing Fire.
Amazing. Here it is, River Flowing Fire from the incredible Abercrombie.
I'm here alone in the silent night, thinking over
Amazing. River Flowing Fire almost brought me to tears, but I'm still holding on. The next track is an incredible one that people will be able to sing along to, Summertime. How does this song make you feel, Abby?
Oh, honestly, it brings the warmth back into my heart, you know. And when it's a cold day like this, I just want to see the sunshine. And if it's not outside, we'll bring it from within. So that is Summertime for you.
Enjoy. This is the Big Sleep In from York Road Project. Mwah!
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy is rich, and your mommy is good looking. So hush, little baby. Baby, don't you cry. Don't you cry. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Daddy is rich, and your mommy is good looking. So hush, little baby. Baby, don't you cry. Don't you cry. One of these mornings you're gonna wake up singing. Spread your wings and you take to the sky. Till that morning, thank God waking up. 'Cause Daddy and Mommy are standing by. Are standing by. Summertime, 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 and the living is easy.
Wow, what an incredible performance. Summertime here on the Big Sleep In. It just gets better and bigger every time. Right, the next track then, a track I know that you wrote through a challenging time. My Shining Star, Yes You Are. It's a charity single at the moment out for the UK Pride organisers. Tell us about that track and what that means to you so quickly.
Right. So it's a track that was written, well, that was like I said, a very trying time in my life. And it was just watching people I loved going through a very difficult time, and I didn't know what to do. But I wanted to say to them, and the best way I can do that just through my music is to say to them that they were not alone and that they were loved and that we're going through together that difficult time and come out of it and be able to smile again. So that's how it came about.
Well, enjoy this. This is My Shining Star, Yes You Are, available on Spotify and all other streaming platforms, I'm told. There we go. There's your plug. That's all you're getting. This is the York Big Sleep In for this evening. Thank you.
heart, you are not alone. 'Cause you are, you're my shining star. You are, you're my shining star.
I don't know what to say. To the last performance then, Abercrombie, everything. Talk us about the next track.
Next track. Okay. It's a song that I think is timeless, beautifully written by Lauryn Hill. And it's very current. It's incredible because it talks about, questioning the world and in a positive way. It's a criticism, but it's also something positive to take with you. And that, after winter always comes spring. We have to remember everything that happens to us is circumstantial. It's a moment, and we are not going to be defined by that moment. So if you're going through a difficult time, remember that that is not for the rest of your life. That is just a moment. And so that song is very good to give that message to everybody. And 25 years on, it's still so current and so beautiful. So I decided to do a very folk version of it tonight because it's a quite upbeat and funky song by Lauryn Hill. But yeah, hopefully if she ever listens to this, she won't kill me because I really changed it.
It's incredible, and your take on the track is incredible. Let's play it for everybody then. Here it is. It's just, wow. You brought me to tears with the last song. This one's just going to bring me up now and make me smile. This is Everything is Everything, from originally from Lauryn Hill, but sung and performed by our very own local singer-songwriter, Abercrombie.
Everything is everything. What is meant to be will be. After winter must come spring. Change it comes eventually. I wrote these words for everyone. change it comes eventually.
Wow, absolutely incredible. And I am sure everybody at home is clapping along and stamping their feet because that was incredible. Thank you so much. You tuned in to the Big Sleep In, and I've got my blanket and I'm snuggled up.
Oh, I need to get mine. It's a bit chilly tonight.
We're prepared. You wanted to make your hair sparkle and the makeup look good, you know.
Forgot the most important thing, the blanket.
Oh, yeah, well, keeping nice and warm. But obviously, it is a reminder that there are people around the world that unfortunately have to struggle by living on the streets, rough sleeping,
Yeah.
and that are homeless. So please do spare a thought for those individuals, and of course, recognise that there are a number of reasons why people may be experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping in the UK and around the world. Abby, one activity now that we've come up with that you've so kindly said that you're supporters with is encouraging people to think about and step into homelessness and rough sleeping. And of course, we've prepared some activity sheets for those that have registered for the activity. So let's head into that then, because I know that you've obviously produced an incredible song, which I can't wait for you to perform live for everybody here today. But the activity is around how somebody could potentially write their own song or poem and kind of make it relate to something. So talk us through that process. How did you do it?
Right. So songwriting is really interesting for me. It's all about a feeling that triggers, a thought that triggers a feeling, or it could be anything. It could be something that happened to me. It could be something personal. It could be something that happened to somebody I knew, or simply something that, I saw and made me think about it. So it starts with a thought. And so what I tend to do is to create something like a mood board, like people who do design do. You grab ideas and you just put them all onto paper. They might sound completely crazy and completely disconnected, but it's a good start. You just have a brainstorm. And in this case, I'm going to use the example of the song I've written for tonight. It was all about, what it feels like to be homeless. And so I tried to step in the shoes of a person in that position. And instantly, I felt discomfort. I felt hopelessness. I felt loneliness. And so all those words started coming to me. And so I wrote them down. Everything that caused me to feel that way, I just put them onto a piece of paper. And that was the beginning of it. So you have a feeling that you want to portray, and you have an idea, and that is how it starts.
Yeah, so once you had the idea, obviously you were then asking me about words that potentially were associated with homelessness. So what we had then is we had kind of like two mood boards, didn't we? You had the word associated, so things that people associate to homelessness, whether that might be a sleeping bag, whether that may be a tent, might be that they're out in the forest or the woods, or it might be trauma, it might be mental health, it could be a number of things. And then what you had is you had the way that you felt when you immersed yourself in that situation. Now, of course, there's a number of feelings that eventually come to my mind. And like you said, there was a number of feelings that came to your mind. But how important was that then to resonate, not only in the lyrics, but also the way that you're performing the song?
That's a good question. Well, it's just, it translates a lot about not just my world, but it's almost like bringing together a unity. you know, when I start writing about something, when I put down a feeling that I have, but that is a shared feeling, it then becomes a shared story. And so you can relate to it a lot more. And suddenly I felt more related to that topic. And it's so interesting because ever since I wrote the song, every time I hear about homelessness and or anything related to that, I suddenly have a different take on it because now that touched me in some shape or form.
I see what you mean, and actually, people's thoughts or perceptions of something might change and evolve through time. So you see singer-songwriters that have previously written a song about something that maybe they weren't necessarily understanding, or they might have just started to feel, but actually when they perform it 5 years down the line, Elton John, for instance, talks about during his World AIDS Day, you know, at first when he wrote a song, a charity song for World AIDS Day, it was very much, it was just for that charity. It wasn't until he started to lose friends and family that actually he started to really feel that sucker punch of, I've got to now perform this. I've got to perform this with all my might. And therefore it kind of translated into not more of an aggressive performance, but more of an emotive performance that really meant something. So people that are at home then, that are playing along and taking part in the activity, word association. What was the first word that came to your mind when we were talking about homelessness?
Loneliness. It was the first one that came to mind because I pictured myself. I'm a very visual person as well, so I instantly pictured myself in the, you know, abandoned in the middle of a street and just sitting there and feeling lonely because often a homeless person is completely ignored, and people, you know, it's almost like being lonely in a crowd, and it is really, you know, quite literally being that.
Indeed.
And so it was that, you know, me in my own little world, surrounded by an entire sea of people, and yet I'm not seen, heard, I'm not felt. And so that was the first, you know, the first thing that came to me.
And then when you then took those words and you took that feeling kind of in your song, without giving too much away just yet, because I know we're going to get you to perform it, is there like a sentence that you would say is, you know, typifies homelessness?
Oh gosh.
I'm
You
putting
mean I'm looking at my lyrics. You know, it says, because you know what, it's a story for me, you know, it is, and it builds up to something. What I wanted to portray with this song is the fact that even though I was feeling lonely at that very moment, there was something that was greater than that, and that is my desire to live. And so regardless of the sadness and the difficulties and the loneliness I was feeling, there was still a part of me that wouldn't let myself go with that, that would give me some hope to carry on. And so I would say the sentence that I think is the most important of this song is that there is always time to start again.
That's, when you think about that, actually, yes. And actually that really does resonate with York Road Project, because there are people that have come to York Road Project for support and potentially done something wrong and then gone back through the cycle and then come back. And, you know, there's been 3 or 4 times, and actually there's one moment in their life where they think, right now, I'm going to use this moment with the support of York Road Project and get that fresh start, get that starting moment in my life. And I know that Kath's going to have some stories to tell us a little bit later, that she'll be able to share, that, again, kind of talk about that restart, talking about that refreshing somebody's life, somebody being able to go out there and live their life and build a family and get a job and get their home and get back on track. And it is all possible. You just have to not give up that hope, and you have to stand there and say, I can do this. And you know, the person's got to have willpower as well as the people that are providing the support. The one thing that I know from working with such an incredible team over at the HG Wells Centre in York Road Project, the outreach workers, the people that work in the day centre and the night shelter, the work that they put into each individual person, each individual client has a story, and the time that they spend to get to know those clients and understand those people's stories, that is life-saving. It really, truly is. I know that people are now frantically trying to get things down. This activity is something that you can do through the night. Abba Canilli has kindly offered to judge the top one, and the winner will, of course, win a little bit of a prize. We've got a bit of a gift bag ready for you. So good luck, and do obviously participate with that activity and send us over your songs or poems. Another thing, I had a question for you, Abby. I'm quite one of those people that want my poem or song to rhyme. Is it important that it rhymes?
Not necessarily. I think the most important thing is to have your message across and to be true to that feeling as much as you can. And not always the words will rhyme, but ideally, I think, especially when you're singing that, it sounds very pleasant, but it means nothing if it doesn't have an essence and a body to that. So I would say, don't ever worry about rhyming. Be more worried about the essence of your message and what you want people to capture from what you were saying.
Amazing. Abby, you are an incredible singer-songwriter, and I cannot wait for everybody now to hear this track. I'm going to get Kath back on screen just after your performance. Kath, I hope you've got your cup of tea in hand or coffee watching this, because it's incredible and I can't wait for you to see it. But please get yourself a tissue. Right, this is the Big Sleep In from York Road Project. In a short while, we'll be joined by some local individuals asking Kath some more questions, which is great. If you've got any questions, video messages, love and support, anything that you want us to ask, please do get in contact with us. info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. Abby, are you ready to perform this amazing track?
Oh God, here we go. Bear in mind, it's only been written how long? A week, 2 ago? And
this is how talented you are. You're absolutely incredible. I'm going to disappear then. I'm going to hand you over to Abby Canil. AbbyCanil.com is the website. You can check out Abby's great music. And Kath, be ready to join us at the end of this performance. It's incredible, but you might need a hanky. Take it away, Abby Canil.
Here we go. So this song is called Another Day. In a moment, one more breath. It's a knot inside my throat. It's a chain weighing down my soul. I feel so lonely in this world. Nowhere to go when I gaze at the sky. It is this sadness consuming me. I'm petrified of my own existence. I contemplate to no longer be. I feel so small, I feel so judged. I have a story that hurts so much. The pain took over, and now I'm here, losing myself through all these fears.
I feel so lost, I can feel the love. Still there is life inside this heart. Hope and believe it's another day. There's always time to start again. I feel so lost, I can't feel the love. Still there is life inside this heart. Hope and believe it's another day. There's always time to start again. Start again. Start again.
Wow, unbelievable. And if your song sounds like that, then please do get in contact with us. But no, we're not asking you to sing it. Don't panic. I know there's some people that have taken part in today's Big Sleep that cannot sing and do not want to sing, but they are taking part. So we look forward to judging those songs and poems. Send them over to info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. Abby, absolutely fantastic. I know Kath is just joining back into the room, so I'll be bringing Kath in a short while to find out what she thought of that. It's absolutely incredible. Here we are. Green room is there. We go. Green room. Did you have your tissues there, Kath?
I did indeed. I had my tissues. Look.
Oh no, we're a mess tonight. I tell you, it's fantastic. Kath, if you was to tell the people at home about how potentially somebody experiencing homelessness may feel, obviously Abby talked about isolation, loneliness, potentially those feelings. Are there any other kind of feelings or words that you would say, kind of you would associate with homelessness and rough sleeping?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I'd say is I never claim to understand, because I don't walk in anybody else's shoes. And so it's really important that we recognise every individual as an individual, and their story is their story. This is going slightly off piste, but I remember a few years ago when we're in the prop, we do a rough sleeper breakfast. So at 7:30 we open the doors for those who aren't in beds. They can have a shower, breakfast. Lovely part of the day. They don't want anything other than what we call appropriate love. And some of the clients brought in a new rough sleeper, and he didn't say much, but as he was in on a new, I just made him a cup of tea. And as I passed the cup of tea to him, he burst into tears. And I looked at him thinking, my word, is he in pain? What's going on? And he just said I was the first person who had made him a cup of tea for months. And so I think I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but I think a lot of people who are experiencing homelessness, the overwhelming feeling they may have is loneliness, that complete disconnect to the rest of society, who are running around with their lives and doing their own thing. And so to feel, I can't imagine what it must be like to feel that lonely, that isolated, that almost you don't exist in Western society. So yeah, I think loneliness and fear. Fear is another one. We get shouted at an awful lot, but one thing we say to the team is take it almost as sort of turn it around. It's a bit of a positive, because you're safe to shout at, because you're still going to be standing there the next time they come back. You're not going to reject them. So, you know, anger is based in fear. So I think that if I were to attempt to walk in their shoes, I would be absolutely petrified. I wouldn't know where to go, what to do. I don't know. I'd probably curl up in a ball somewhere. So the resilience that we witness every single day is astonishing. I say I wouldn't be that resilient, but I suppose when you're in that situation, that resilience comes from somewhere, that survival element of your life. So I think I've met some of the most amazing people ever in the jobs I do with working with people experiencing homelessness.
It's most definitely. You've always got stories to tell, and it's fantastic to hear. Kath, I'm going to let you drop back down into the green room because we're going to be crossing over to a client story in a short while. Thank you so much, and a huge thank you to the incredible Abi Kinneal for performing such a fantastic song, and also bringing us some great music to keep us entertained and keep us woken up. It's now coming up to 20 to 9. We are running ahead of schedule, but that's all good because it gives you time to get involved in the activities. Abi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And if you want to hear that song again, it's available on Radio Woking a little bit later and, of course, in the morning. Abi, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, amazing. Abi is just absolutely incredible. I've got a runny nose and a runny eyes and everything because I haven't stopped crying. It's unbelievable. But it all goes to show that we're extremely passionate about the work that we do here at York Road Project. And we're passionate about it because a lot of us work here because we were touched by homelessness ourselves. I myself, unfortunately, lost my grandfather after he went through a very challenging time with drugs and alcohol and went missing. And he disappeared and he went off and he became homeless in Brighton. And we couldn't find him for quite some time. And then when we did find him, unfortunately, it was a little too late. But the story behind that was that, you know, what it does is it touches you and it makes you want to do well, and it makes you want to help people in the local community. So that's my story. And of course, joining York Road Project from a big corporate organisation to come to a charity that's local, that's doing great things. It just feels so great to be able to make a difference in the society that we live in. So from me to everybody that I work with and to the staff and of course the community, thank you so much for making my job a lot easier. In fact, because without you as an amazing community getting behind the charity, my role looking after community fundraising and the relationships with you in the community would be a lot harder. Right, so let's cross over now to a client story that most definitely touched me when I spoke with her, and somebody that, of course, recognises again the amazing work that the team at York Road Project do. This is Dion. And please be aware that there may be triggers related to mental health and drug and alcohol abuse.
My name is Dion. My story began in April when I joined York Road Project. I left a violent relationship, domestic violence. I did with my partner of 7 years. Street angels that come around at the weekends on Fridays and Saturdays in Woking Town Centre. They give me some information about the York Road Project and explained to me. But, well, what's it? I was nervous coming in, and because especially where I come, it was halfway through the COVID situation, lockdown and that. And because I had spent a couple of nights on the streets before I come to York Road. And as soon as I come in, I was greeted, a very welcome greeting. And I gave my deals registered, and I was given a room I was. On York Road, like, every day is like being challenging because I'm also a drug addict. They've helped me get back on my prescription, my medication, which I've stuck to, doing well. I have grateful that they've managed to help me the way they have, because in the short few months that I've been here, they've managed to sort housing out, get me back into housing situation. They've helped me with my benefits, claiming my benefits again, but I wouldn't be like, what's it, clean showered. I can't, it was like I had a home and I went from a home to nothing. I did, and I was so low and everything. Like, don't get me wrong, I was hungry as well, but at that time, I didn't care for food. I was just hitting the drugs because I couldn't believe, from being high up, having the property, giving it all up for a man, and then York Road took me in and just helped me, because if it hadn't been for them, I tell you now, I'd still be on the streets. And I've never ever committed a crime of shoplifting or nothing. I haven't. And I probably would have started shoplifting to fill my drug habit and all that, because even these times, yeah, I don't have credit on my phone. I can go down to York Road, down to the staff. They let me use their phone. They let you use computer, everything to help and all that. So if it hadn't been for them, that I would have been still on the streets taking drugs. Definitely, 100%. What's it? At least what I can say from now, I can't speak nothing wrong, bad about them, because you even I'm a self-harm person, depression and all that, and I just lost a relative not long ago, and I didn't have the money to travel together, and Yogo paid for my train ticket to get me to Preston for a funeral and everything. And if you're stuck, and no matter if you're feeling low, the staff's always there, and they sit and they listen, and it doesn't matter what it's about, but they'll take the time and they will sit there. And like my brother's birthday was yesterday, and one of the staff members, Teresa, come on, we go out, buy you a cup of coffee, go for a walk. So I wasn't sitting in my room wallowing and, and like feeling depressed and all that. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, the staff will always take time and to comfort you. That was the main thing, yes. I got to say me goodbye. Yes, because that was the thing I was dreading more.
Powerful stuff, right? This is York Road Project's Big Sleep In, and that was Dion's story. If you missed that, that will be available on our social media channels. And of course, you'll be able to watch it back on playback, and it will be played out again tomorrow. My hair's a quivering mess because I was like this. I'm going to invite Kath back now. And we also have members of the community joining us in a short while as well, with a couple of questions. Kath, hearing that story back obviously touched me significantly. I mean, it just goes to show that the work that the staff do at York Road Project really is valued and really is recognised by these individuals that just need somebody to hold their hand and guide them through challenging times.
Yeah, totally. And it isn't, Dion's story isn't a one-off. I guess sometimes we get a little bit used to it, which is quite sad, but seeing it back, you suddenly realise all of the stuff that's gone in to supporting her and how well she's done. But it happens more often than I think people realise. That there is so many stories that we can tell, and it's important that these stories are told, that people understand that there is a human being behind it, behind the behaviour, behind even the offending or the substance misuse. So there are people, they are actual people who need care and attention.
Most definitely. Now, joining us, Kath, we have a couple of members in the local community. They've got a couple of questions for you. Joining now then, Lisa and Kel. Lisa, can you hear us okay?
We can hear you. Hi, Kath. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Hiya.
You prepared for a long night ahead?
Yes.
Yeah. Over to you, ladies. I understand that you've got a couple of questions for Kath.
Yeah, we do. So I was just wondering what you're doing in terms of moving your clients into longer term accommodation. I know it's a real challenge, isn't it, within the sector?
Yeah, so we have 5 move-on properties of our own. We've got with the 6th coming online early next year. So what we tend to do is move people on from the shelter into those houses, and they have a varying level of support offered to them. And the idea with that is that they can then still receive support, but live in a much more normal environment. It's shared houses, so it's not independent living, furnished to a high standard. And yes, they have to engage with the support, but it's quite client-led, so it depends on how much they want or whatever, but we make sure they have all of they know what they need to do in terms of their benefits or job hunting or whatever. The problem we have is when we get to the end of the line of our houses, because a couple of our houses are low support, we keep them at affordable rent, which actually means we make a loss on 2 of our houses, because if we didn't keep the rents so low, they wouldn't be able to afford to live there if they get a job. So the next step would, in our ideal world, would be into social housing. So they've got the security, but unfortunately, there isn't that much of that around. So it will be private rented, which is incredibly hard to access. Not just in Woking, and not just the southeast, but anywhere unless you move sort of, I guess, further up north. But we work with some landlords. We have quite a few contacts. But it's in terms of independent living, self-contained, their own place with their own key to their own front door. That is unfortunately quite few and far between. We probably only do, I don't know, half a dozen a year of those. However, advantages of COVID, bizarrely, what we have found is that the government have made an awful lot of money available to local authorities. Not enough, but far more than they'd normally have. So that's been able to meant that it's been we've been able to work very closely with Woking Borough Council and secure a lot more independent housing, because the emphasis has really been trying not to put people in shared accommodation for health reasons. And so we've managed to move quite a few on into their own places since March. And I think, I'm sorry, I don't have the exact figures, but we must be talking about a dozen into their own places in the last 6 months, which is ridiculously high. And we've got a lot more on the horizon as well, of moving people into their own place. But that creates a lot more work, particularly as we're doing it so fast. We wouldn't just move somebody in to an empty house with a key. We need to make sure they've got a bed, they've got the washing machine, the cooker, all of this, which all of that stuff we can source, but only because the community helps us with either funding or sending us vouchers or whatever. So that's what we do.
Definitely. We do have to call out as well, a huge thanks to Woking Rotary for their support in providing us with white goods for a number of properties across Woking that we've managed to put clients into. And I believe you've got another question for Kath as well, just to keep her on her toes.
Yeah, hi Kath. We were just wondering what the sort of biggest struggle for your clients is. What is their most sort of common need?
I guess it depends. I'm going to go with need of support, and that will be, for most people, our primary support need amongst our client groups is mental health issues, and most of us, not just clients but us as well, wouldn't just have one primary support, one support need. You have a multitude. But if you ask a client what is their most pressing one, they will say, majority of them will say mental health. And the difficulty with mental health support is that the funding for statutory support has been cut so much that our clients no longer meet the criteria. They just aren't ill enough. And if they and this is very common, what I'm about to say is that if you've got a mental health problem, you'll go to the mental health services if we can get them an appointment, and they'll say, oh, well, you're also a drinker, so you have to go and deal with your alcohol misuse first. So then we'll take them to the substance misuse team, and they will say, well, actually, you're only drinking to self-medicate and manage your mental health problems. So you've got to go and deal with that first. So this dual diagnosis that people have, and unfortunately, and this is very common, it's just that the services quite often don't work together. And because they're so pushed, their caseloads are so high and the money's so tight, those who will turn up to appointments without fail will get seen first. Now, so our clients will be offered an appointment, but they don't have a mobile phone, so they may not be able to use a calendar or something, or they may have suddenly lost their bed or lost something or moved, and so they can't turn up to the appointment. And then once they miss that, then they get kicked off the waiting list again and have to start again. And the other thing I'd say is you cannot address your substance misuse problem unless you've got somewhere to live. You cannot, because again, it comes back to that whole thing about trauma. Is all of us have been through some form of trauma, but if you're under a bush, how are you going to deal with that? You're going to have a drink probably. So, and that's going to then exacerbate your mental health. So it all goes round and round in circles, really. We need people settled, and that sense of security, their self-worth is improving, and that's when you can tackle and really address these issues. The system works the other way. We won't give you somewhere to live until you've dealt with your issues, because otherwise we don't think you can sustain your accommodation. So it's all a bit backward, really.
It's the nature of complex needs, isn't it? It's very difficult, very, very difficult. But congratulations on the work that you do. I know that the project has massive impact, and you know, we are behind you and we support you. And good luck going forward. We'll be there in the background watching, and if you need us, you know where we are.
Thank you very much for your support. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
I hope that cough gets better.
Oh, thank you. Typical, isn't it? Just as I come on to speak to you, it kicks off.
She's been fine all day.
All day.
That's why you're doing it at home. And of course, please do go and get that checked. But of course, Lisa Kell, before I let you go, if going back to the activity about singing and songwriting and words that you associate with homelessness, that feeling and that emotion, what words would you say relate with you in terms of feeling for those that may be experiencing homelessness?
Oh gosh,
There's one.
yeah, it's really difficult, isn't it? I mean, it's just that feeling of but for me, I think the feeling is a desire to help, but always been almost been helpless in that, because you know, a lot of times you don't know how to help for the best, you know. And I think that's why it's brilliant to have projects like yours right on our doorstep that we can direct our help and support to, and it's delivered in a way that's appropriate and useful to your clients.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Lisa and Kel there. And of course, if you have any questions this evening, you can get involved too. Drop us an email, info@yorkroadproject.org.uk, and I'll respond back like I'm doing this evening with a link so that you can join us live here. Or alternatively, if you're shy, don't panic. You can send over your questions via email, and of course, we will get them answered. Now, we haven't done this at all during this evening, but if you do want to donate, you can. You can simply head over to yorkroadproject.org.uk, or you can donate £5 per month via text by simply texting YRP Hero to 70085. That once again is YRP Hero to 70085. Terms and conditions apply, and the text message will cost £5 plus 2 standard rate messages. And of course, all the terms and conditions are available on our website, yorkroadproject.org.uk. That's it. That's all my Cav said. Do not be pleading for money. That is it. That's my plea for money. And of course, we really do hope that all the stories and things that we're sharing with you tonight do obviously bring to life some of the experiences that people experiencing homelessness in Woking potentially have experienced. But of course, this is reflected worldwide, and many people have different experiences and stories to share. Many of those stories, in fact, will be shared on the radio show at Radio Woking, where I'm doing a all-nighter to again raise money and raise awareness of the amazing cause that is York Road Project. Kath, obviously you've been with us for some time, and you've probably seen all sorts of different clients. In terms of relationships now, I'm talking about like governing bodies like the council and the police, etc. Why is it so important that you build up those relationships, and how is it that you potentially come to help them as well as organisations?
I think none of us can do this on our own. This is far bigger than one little organisation. We're talking about the need for enormous systemic change in order to address homelessness. You know, there's our tagline is defeating homelessness in Woking. That's an aspiration. I'm not sure how realistic it is, because there'll never be enough accommodation. There'll always be people in need, but we definitely couldn't do it without partnership. Partnership working with all types of agencies, be that the police, the local authority, be it the Rotary Club, be it Morrison's, be it KFC, be it whoever. It is about building relationships so that people understand what we do. And some of it is definitely about the awareness raising. KFC, for instance, the head office in Woking, didn't really know what we did, but actually we had some really fruitful conversations with them. And then, you know, when we're operating normally in the day centre, we have the opportunity to take clients up to their head office and to their product development kitchen and spending time there cooking. Sounds so small, but this is about an activity where people are working together with a professional chef. So that's one type of relationship. Another type is like the local authority. I think local authorities get a lot of bad press, but Woking Borough Council is actually astonishing. They do far more than they legally have to. And I know people may be unhappy with things that councils do, but their view on our clients, and particularly during COVID, is we do not want anybody on the streets. We will put them in somewhere. We will help them, and we couldn't have done it without their additional funding, and obviously providing us with the building. But say even all the churches, what I'm really missing through Harvest, and then we'll miss at Christmas, is I spend my life talking. I mean, this is a really good opportunity for me. I've been out a bit out of practice, but I'm normally in Harvest talking to so many school kids. And just educating people about who we are and what we do and how to help us, and also how to smile at a homeless person sitting on the floor.
Absolutely fantastic. And we are live now, talking live on Radio Woking. So hello to everybody now on Radio Woking. Kath, very quickly, how can people support York Road Project if they are tuned in to Radio Woking and watching at yorkroadproject.org.uk?
So is this a sneaky one to get me to do the plea for money so you don't get told off by me for asking too much?
Well, of course, that's it's in
so
there.
If you wish to help us financially, please go to yorkroadproject.org.uk, and there's a whole series of donate buttons there. Another way is just if it's something you feel like you'd like to provide for us, there's there's a list of what you could donate, and it will also direct you to our Amazon wish list. Or if you don't want to do that now or forget tomorrow, give us a call and ask us how you can help.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kath. Obviously, incredibly, we are live on the radio and, of course, here at York Road Project. We're going to hit over to a song over there, and we're back here in the room. So thank you so much for tuning in to The Big Sleep In. Incredibly, so many people are obviously hitting the website and viewing our wish list at the moment. So fantastic. And thank you so much to you all for obviously getting involved. If you, like I said, have got any questions or anything like that, please do get in contact with us. You can simply go over to our website and click on contact us, or email info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. And I've seen a message just come in. Here we go. Lots of people want to help but don't know how. What is the best way that somebody can help York Road Project itself? And also, if they know of somebody who is or is going to be homeless, how do they get in touch? Are there any other organisations? And what's the process? That's a message from Angela Gray, who has emailed in.
I mean, what was raised then really well is if someone's about to become homeless, ideally tell us before someone's become homeless or you're going to lose your accommodation. The sooner we know, the sooner we can help. And it could be that we just need to make a few phone calls and actually we can resolve your housing situation, or we can then do a planned move into us if that's appropriate. What I would say is that York Road Project focuses on Woking first and foremost. So that if someone were to ring us from Reigate or from Birmingham or wherever else outside Woking Borough, we'll offer them advice, but we won't be bringing them into Woking. This is otherwise what happens is a support network creates here, and then we struggle with moving them on because they don't have a local housing connection. So it sounds a bit harsh, but there is very sensible reasons behind it. And we do some work with Waverley, and we have a property in Milford for Waverley clients. So we do a little bit over there, but that's because they're neighbouring borough and it made sense. Otherwise, their clients are with us anyway. In terms of helping, as I said earlier, just nip over to the website and have a look there. There's information about how to donate financially, what items we are particularly short of, or going via our Amazon wish list, which I think is the greatest invention on the entire planet. Press a button, it can get sent straight to us, and you don't have to go and pick anything up. The one thing I will say, and I'm sure there's been lots of questions about this, is about volunteering. Normally, we open our arms to volunteers. However, at the moment, COVID is causing us a lot of problems with this. for the obvious reasons, it's not difficult to understand, because our volunteers would have to go through quite a stringent induction process anyway, because we work with some very traumatized individuals who can be unpredictable. But please give us a call and have a chat. It could be that we say, give us a call back in 6 months, or when all the numbers are going back down again. And it's difficult because we're working out of a building that actually isn't ours, so we haven't got full control of the building. But there are other ways, things like set up your own little fundraising little project. I mean, I know that we've got Mary Tobin on speaking at some point through tonight, and she raises funds for us in a different way. We have calendars made for us or sold on our behalf. So there are other ways, and Stephen's very good at sort of advertising all of that stuff. But just keep in contact, drop us an email. Stephen will always answer to all of them, won't you, Stephen? Info at York Road Project.
A lot of interest there, getting back to people and saying, thank you very much for your question, etc. But no, thank you. And of course, there are also many people in local community groups, church groups, and local businesses showing their support. Obviously, to keep you engaged, I'm going to change things about in terms of our schedule, and we're going to go heading over now with some messages from two businesses locally. We've got Nationwide, and we've also got Morrison's, both of which, if you have any donations of food or any hygiene products such as shaving foam, deodorants, you can drop them into these stores. Kath, we'll be back with you in a short while, but let's now head over to these incredible messages from these two organisations. And these are two organisations of many organisations that are available. And Kath also mentioned Jam. If you want to find out more about Mary Tobin's Jam, or jamming, you can either tune in between 10 and 11 o'clock this evening on Radio Woking, where I've got an amazing interview with and of course you can find out more information about the jam that's available for sale on our website now in the news section. Just literally scroll down, Jamming, the Jamtastic fundraiser. Over to Nationwide.
Here at Nationwide Woking, we're very happy and proud to be supporting such a great charity like the York Road Project. We understand all the hard work that the York Road Project does to help those who are vulnerable, most in need and facing homelessness. Having the sign outside has definitely helped in terms of the amount of food that we're receiving. So we do have a lot of people walk by and often just pop in to ask if they can donate food. And obviously we say yes. So we've had a lot of people drop off, bags of food actually. So we've had biscuits, sachets of soup, canned food, and yeah, quite a lot of things.
Please continue with all that you're doing
and continue being the York Road heroes.
Wow, and we do have another one. This is Morrison's now in Woking. Thank you to you two.
Welcome to Morrison's Woking. Here at Morrison's we are committed and passionate about helping and supporting our local community. Homelessness can happen to absolutely anyone when they least expect it, and the York Road Project is an amazing local charity that supports over 300 people every year to move their lives forward positively and access safe, secure accommodation.
We've recently set up a dedicated drop-off point in store so customers can donate items that desperately need them. Currently, these include tin food, cooking sauces, crisps and snacks, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, pasta and rice, toiletries, hygiene products and PPE. You can find the donation point at the back of the checkouts in the Woking store. Morrison's Woking are looking forward to working with the York Road Project long term, supporting great initiatives such as the Big Sleep In and the donation point, and really making a difference in our local community.
Can you help us with fresh veggies, potatoes and fruits? Well, they're all things that potentially our clients may need. If you can help us to help them with fresh vegetables, potatoes and fruit, then please do give us a call on 01483 728 739 during working hours so that we can arrange collection, or of course so that you can drop them off to our temporary facility at York Road Projects HG Wells Conference Centre. Let's serve up a healthy treat for our clients and obviously deliver some fantastic food and drink. A huge thanks to all of the staff and our chef, Alan, doing great work in the kitchen at HG Wells to provide food and drink to our clients. Please, obviously, remember that your donations go a long way to support those during their time of need. Thank you. We're going to be heading now back to Kath. I'm going to find out and see if we can get another story out of Kath. Press the right button there, Steve. Kath, you've got loads of stories. You've told us a couple already, but everybody loves to hear your stories. In fact, I've had an email through from Dawn saying, another story, please. So you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I will do, certainly. Stephen, can I just say that we've just checked the Amazon wish list and it's practically sold out. So we need some stuff to go on, particularly pot noodles, people. So if you've got a second, Stephen, in between radio and this and everything else, we need the wish list updating again. Anyway, I shall do my story now. I've
audio for a second there. We've just lost your audio, Kath. Not too sure if anybody else is having that same problem. Let me just technology. We are live, as you can tell, and we are kicking. So let me just check and make sure that everybody else can hear you.
Miss that, then they get kicked off the waiting list
I
again.
don't think
their self-worth is improving, and that's when
it's a bit
Can
delayed.
you hear me now?
So let me just check and make sure. Can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you fine.
Everybody can hear you apart from me, apparently, so that's okay. I'm going to head over to you whilst I get my stuff sorted out. Kath, give us your stories.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you about Paul. And this is a very long-winded case, really. And Paul was astonishing. So Paul we had not in accommodation very much because he didn't like being around people. So quite often he would come and eat with us, but wouldn't stay in a bed, or if he did, it would only be for a night or two. And he was quite difficult to communicate with in terms of if you took a step towards him, he'd take a step back. And this went on for years. And we had at that point, we still have Naomi, a worker. She's an assertive outreach worker, and she was in a slightly different role last year. And what she did was her focus was on well-being and supporting the whole person and forgetting about housing, because he was so far away from housing that there was no point spending time trying to fill out forms and referrals. So it was more about getting to understand him as a human being. So Paul walked miles, and you'd often see him around Surrey, not just Woking, because actually he didn't come from Surrey, from Woking. He was in another borough, but he would walk miles with a great big rucksack, and he had a very long beard. And he was very difficult to sit down with, or get him to sit down with you. He didn't want to go and have a cup of coffee in a coffee shop, too public, too noisy, very, very difficult environment for him. So Naomi, our worker, sort of had a think and a look at this. And in the end, the way she got to build a relationship with him was to walk. So she started just walking with him and talking. And that was the start of a really good relationship being built. And last Christmas, we had our Christmas meal in the day centre in the Prop. And we were trying to encourage him to come in, but he was very concerned, not only about all the other people, but he was concerned about his rucksack, because that's his life in there. So the agreement was we put his rucksack in a little meeting room, and we had to watch the door and make sure it was safe. He didn't want it locked, I presume, because if we locked it, then he couldn't get in, quickly grab his bag and leave if he wanted to. So he ate his Christmas meal with everybody else, and us as a staff team, we were all going, "Oh, it's so sweet, Paul's in." To cut a very long story short, after lots of walking and lots of time, we've actually got him housed, and I'm so chuffed with the team. Naomi worked really hard, but it was a true team effort. You can't do any of this work on your own. Every aspect of your project involves so many people. You know, whether it's me as chief exec or Stephen as fundraiser or the chef, we all have to work very closely together. And though Naomi led on Paul's case and did a lot of it. There was a ways we all had to learn to act when we were around him, so we didn't trigger anything or scare him off. And so he is housed. He went back to his the borough he came from. Naomi worked hard to get him organised over there, and as far as we know, he's living happily ever after. He hasn't been back to us, so that's a really positive one. So I must say, I don't know. That one will last me for a lifetime, I think.
That's amazing, and it's so great to be able to hear you, of course, but of course
Hi, I'm Yana.
also be able to share stories that are successful of clients that have been through the care and the attention, and you touched upon it there. Of course, it's about understanding each individual client's needs as well, because every single client that comes through the door has a different need, and of course needs to be spoken with and dealt with in a different way. And sometimes we've got to vary our ways of speaking to these people 3 or 4 times before we actually get our message through to be able to help them. Which leads me on nicely, actually, Kath. One of the mottos really is that it's that we don't give up. We never give up with these clients. Talk to us about that. Tell us, in your own words, I suppose, how that kind of ethos comes about and how we put it to play.
So, I mean, this ethos started and way of thinking and working started a long, long time ago. What we've seen over the years in the homelessness sector is so many organisations are almost being forced to be more risk adverse. So by that, I mean that they're reluctant to take people with really complex needs because there's a higher likelihood of them getting evicted or abandoning their accommodation, and empty beds cost money. If you don't have all your full beds, you can't afford to run your service. It's that tight in terms of figures. All the budgets are worked on having full beds. Now, that's great, except then you've got a whole cohort of people who actually just get nothing. So sort of organically, rather than any sit down, let's make a decision, we found what we were doing is taking more and more people with seriously complex needs. And quite often we have felt over the years that we're not equipped. We're not mental health professionals. We're not substance misuse professionals. We are certainly not learning disability professionals, and jack of all trades. And sometimes, be honest, we feel like we're dumping ground for those people that nobody else wants, and it's very sad. But we have seen some phenomenal changes being made with people, with us taking that risk and keeping going. And yes, things may go wrong, and we may evict. We don't evict an awful lot, and we certainly don't do any permanent or long-term bans. But we have our rules and we have our boundaries, obviously. So we just keep going, and we see it all the time, the change people make. We've got a young man at the moment who is not my biggest fan. He blames me for everything. He's currently been evicted. He will come back in when he's done his time out again. But he's been round and round and round and round. But today I spotted him. It's actually on the phone to my partner, and I was walking across town and I saw him, and I was so pleased I was on the phone, because I thought, in that case, he's not going to shout at me or anything. But I put my hand up just to wave, a polite sign, and probably for the first time in a very long time, he smiled. It was almost a bit disconcerting, really, because he normally throws abuse at me. But that one little action may show that he's making the right steps towards change. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to come back in tomorrow and live happily ever after. He is more likely to come back in tomorrow, be settled for 48 hours, and then shout at me again. That this young man is so damaged. He is so hurt by society and by parenting or lack of, and the care system, that he doesn't know how to self-regulate at all. And I think what will happen with him, if we don't keep trying with him, he will end up in prison. So somebody has to keep doing it. I said this earlier, people are human beings, they're individuals, and we need to demonstrate that as society, we care.
Definitely. I totally agree. And I think somebody's actually messaged here to say that kind of selflessness is definitely demonstrated in staff's work, which is fantastic to kind of hear. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sending that message.
What I will say just quickly is, let's be honest, we are not saints, and what we do is not completely altruistic. I get a lot out of this sector. It makes me feel really good to know that I've been part of helping somebody move on in their life. But that's some of that. We have to be honest. Some of that is about me and making me feel good as well. So I wouldn't want people to think that we've all got halos. I can be a total antisocial cowbag because sometimes our days we take on so emotion. Speak nicely, Stephen. But there needs to be some honesty. We do it because absolutely we have enormous passion and we care. But I don't have a halo.
Most definitely, neither do I. Didn't say that out loud. Right, let's have a look at some of the amazing heroes then. This is just some of the donations that are coming through our Amazon wishlist. You are all YRP heroes. Thank you so much to you recently for doing that for us. And of course, a huge thank you to everybody that's been donating via our wish list. And you can find that on our website, yorkwebproject.org.uk. Also, another story that I was really touched by, and actually just bringing up my notes here, was that of the Joyce Cracker family, who donated items from our wish list, along with £10 in pocket money from their 5-year-old daughter, and her son, who's in the picture there, gave £20 of his pocket money. So thank you. You are most definitely York Road Project heroes. Tomorrow morning, if you're in the mood to keep fit, we've got the incredible fitness instructor, Misha. And I know that Kath is very much looking forward to getting her grooves on along with Misha tomorrow. I'm stitching Kath up right now, but let's just say it's fine. It will be okay, and we'll survive. So tune in tomorrow on our social media to get involved in that. And here's another picture then from St John's in Woking. Thank you so much to you for donating so much food and drink that was needed by our chef there in the picture, Alan, who's taking some fruit and vegetables in. Oh, I see a sneaky pumpkin. Does that mean that we've got a pumpkin pie for our clients coming on? Well, who knows? I know that Alan made recently a fantastic scrummy rhubarb crumble. But the question is, where was mine? Terrible. Don't go anywhere. Up now, we have a performance that I've been waiting for, and performance I know that Kath, you'll enjoy. So I'm going to let you go back to the green room and sip on your cups of coffee, and we'll be back in a short while to quiz you on some more stories, because I know you're all loving the stories this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Big Sleep In, and a reminder that you can tune in from 10 o'clock also over at Radio Woking for a takeover. So a huge thank you to all of you for getting involved. Let's get ready to rumble, so they speak. We've got a 30-second countdown to raise a little bit of suspense now for what you're about to see. Is absolutely sensational, and it comes from a pair that are siblings in their obviously own bubble that have put together this creative performance that I'm sure you are going to be blown away by. Stay tuned. This is The Big Sleep In.
Hi, we're here with the York Road Project and a Big Sleep In. We are Alex and Phoebe of the Colourblind Monks. We really hope you enjoy, and this is our first song, 7th Street. His eyes open, I saw a token of someone who is broken, and all the notes it made are stolen. But now he's gone, he is forgotten. Look at me now, standing above the crowd with a tattoo getting tired of all this false love. He does not know love. Look at me now, standing above the crowd with a tainted crowd. Crazy to believe you're not here with me. You're meant to be on the 7th Street. And as it all fades away, he's looking back on brighter days. But he knows the truth, unlike me and you say. I've been burning out my pride. I've seen the ghosts in the shadow, and I'm not even letting the guys know. I guess I'll go home today. 7th Street is where I am. Let me blow up in these flames. This song is so new that it doesn't have a name yet, so you're the first to hear it. I really hope you enjoy. Covered in 1,000 jet black skies. It's here the light at night, and I don't know why. Look that way, I don't know what I'm for. You're dancing the flames, I think you must have lost your mind. Like an eclipse, our lips touch briefly. Before you go, leave me repeatedly. And now I'm screaming hallelujah in your light. Once you close the skies, it spills your light. Got a flaming heart, but a jaded mind. Got a bloody smile with tired eyes. And tears run like wax when he cries. Been staring at the sun so long I lost my sight. But I didn't care because my love was always bright. Like an eclipse, our lips touch briefly. Before you go and leave me repeatedly. And now I'm screaming hallelujah in your light. Once you curse the skies, it spills your light. Your light. Your light. Your light. You kill the sun in heaven. You turn up in your grave. And even worship from the grave for the death of me. In your light for the death of you and I. Homelessness can happen to anyone, anywhere. This is why we're so grateful to have charities like the York Road Project to help people out in their time of need. Let's defeat homelessness together. This is our third song, Carnival. Take my hand, we'll do the tightrope together. 'Cause I'm so tired of this feeling of nothing. Welcome to the circus. The ringmaster pose, all the doors are closed. The carnival awaits. Well, it's all staged and we're on cage. I wish I'd never been you. I wish I'd never been you. Keep me down when you know, when the fire burns with my ghost. These lyrics that I write in my mind as you play your songs, and it's scary 'cause we are. Welcome to the circus. The ringmaster pose, all the doors are closed. The carnival awaits. Well, it's all staged and we're on cage. I wish I never met you. I wish I never met you. Welcome to the circus. Carnival doors are closed.
This is our next song, Old West.
Tamer than the sea. It's like a perfect hurricane when you look over at me. Sugar-coated smiles and paper pale faces. We've been here for a while. Oh, how we've been here ages. Sitting in a lonesome street. Oh, why did you scatter my brains? A phantom in the old West, forever haunting, forever in the old West, in the old West. Dressed in black at my funeral, where you read something lyrical. The case is unsolved, you tell them let it be, because you pulled out your gun and flicked the trigger at me. And in the old west, forever, forever haunted in the old west.
Hello everyone, we would like to thank you all for taking part in the Big Sleep In. We'd also like to thank York Road Project for having us. We have been Alex and Phoebe from the Colourblind Monks, and this is our final song, Because of You.
He came from heaven, but there's something unholy in his origin. Pomegranates on his head, but there's silent prayers in every kiss. Because of you, you better hurry, the water is rising all around me, unholy water, and yet it's still softer than your silk touch. When you're pushing me under, suffocating love, suffocating my love. Fingertips on my face, whilst your hand is on my waist. Can't believe you've been replaced by someone who isn't half the trace of who you are. I'm blue because of you. You better hurry, the water is rising all around me, unholy water, and yet it's still softer than your silk touch. When you're pushing me under, suffocating love, suffocating my love. Look at me through your kaleidoscope, rearrange the colors. Look at me through an old lens, through your rose-colored glasses. Do I look better in your eyes now? I'm blue because of you, because of you. I'm blue. You better hurry, the water is rising all around me, unholy water, and yet it's still softer than your silk touch. When you're pushing me under, suffocating love, suffocating my love, when you're suffocating my love. Oh my love.
Thank you, and take care.
Absolutely incredible. The Colourblind Monks. I have no words to say right now. Just absolutely blown away by the incredible talent that we have here in the local area, and of course blown away by the amazing support from all of you at home thus far. A huge thank you to Deanne, Susanna, and Oliver, who have made donations for our website. Thus far, we're looking at around £790 raised thus far through our amazing event, which is the Big Sleep In. And of course, you can make a significant difference by simply finding out more information about York Road Project, and of course sharing what we do with the local community as well. We do have a video message coming from Beryl Hunwicks, the Mayor of Woking. That will be broadcast tomorrow morning at the request of her. So that will be coming tomorrow morning for you all. And of course, that will be also available via our social media channels from tomorrow. All the video messages that people are sending in, we will of course get on our social media as well. We have one that's just come in that should now be available that I will play, and then we'll be heading back over to Kath. We'll find out if Kath's got any more cheeky stories to tell us, and then we'll be going over to our activity where we'll be hopefully inspiring you to design something that will help clients or people like our clients that are experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping. So immerse yourselves in that situation and think about the things that somebody experiencing homelessness might need, because you might be able to, well, come up with an amazing idea, and of course you'll be in for a chance to win a prize too. Here's a video message then from some locals. It's Molly and Yana sending their love.
Hi, I'm Yana.
Hi, I'm Molly.
We both live in Woking and have lived here for many years. The York Road Project is an amazing charity defeating homelessness in our area. They do an incredible job supporting those in need, and they stopped at nothing. They have worked really hard throughout the first COVID lockdown.
Absolutely, and they're back again with an incredible fundraising event called the Big Sleep In, and we would like to say congratulations and well done to everybody that's taking part in this event. You are all heroes to us.
Absolutely, all heroes, including us. And we're here and we really want to break down the stigma attached to homelessness. Let's do it together.
Yeah, there are so many reasons why somebody could become homeless. It's not just through substance misuse. It could be a relationship breakdown. It could be a sudden onset of an illness that causes you to be in hospital or to lose your job. We know all too well during the pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. And it's really important to know that 70% of the population are only 2 paychecks away from potentially becoming homeless. So I think it's really important that we raise awareness and we support charities like the York Road Project that are helping everybody in our community, and you never know when you might need them. So we are really proud to be supporting the Big Sleep In.
Absolutely, this could be any of us. You just never know, like Molly says. So yeah, have an incredible Big Sleep In event. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Thank you, Molly and Yana, for getting in touch and sending us that video message. And of course, do keep your questions coming in. We do have another question here that is, what does the money that gets donated get spent on? Well, we do have a little piece coming up tomorrow morning, but just to kind of clarify some of the things, here are a couple of visuals to bring it to life, because I'm good like that. Here we go. So the first thing, Kath, talk us through, obviously, replacement driver's license. Why would that be something that potentially we could help our clients with?
Yeah, I mean, or any kind of photo identification. And you can't do anything in this world, it seems, without identification. You can't open your bank account, you claim your benefits, all of these things. So we try very hard at first sort of point of contact to establish if they've got ID, and if not, then we'll go and get it replaced. So we do quite a lot of replacement of ID.
Definitely. And something else as well is train or bus travel. That's really important. Tell us why that might be important, not just for somebody that's with us as a client long term, but also people that may be approaching us first off that present as homeless or rough sleeping.
Yeah, so there's various ways we need reasons why we need money for travel and to buy tickets, be whatever mode of transport. One of those is is if someone's not from Woking, as I said earlier, they're very unlikely to get longer term accommodation here because they do not have a housing connection to Woking. So if they've come from, say, Birmingham, and they've got somewhere to go to, we can then get them a ticket, a train or bus, and help them return back to Birmingham, where we will automatically, of course, link them in with services up there. We wouldn't want to just send somebody back to train station. And this includes, there's a picture of a bus ticket there, but we send people abroad back home. So most recently, I think it was either South Africa or New Zealand. We returned somebody to. He'd got a bit stuck in this country, and some people have come into work and then lost their accommodation and job. And the choice you have is to either say, no, we can't help and sleep rough, or spend a bit of money on helping them get back home. And what I will say is we don't just buy a train ticket or an airplane ticket. We will make sure they've got everything else they need. So if we're returning somebody to, I don't know, let's say Romania, Hungary, France, whatever, we would make sure we get them right the way back to their hometown, not just to where the airplane lands. So that may well include further travel into buses and things. We'll also send them with making sure they've got enough food and water for their journey as well. Yes, there's a human side to this. It's better to have somebody back home safe than it is to be rough sleeping. But also, let's be honest, the cost to the UK community, to our community, is much greater. If that person then becomes unwell here, he or she is going to have to use the services. They may be forced to shoplift in order to get food. And then, of course, you've got the impact on the police services. So what we say to people is, unfortunately, it's not working for you here now. Let's go home, get yourself together, get yourself sorted. If you want to come back, that's not a problem. But plan your return and make sure that you have all the things you need in place before you get here.
No, definitely. Fantastic. Thank you. There are loads of other things that we'll be sharing with you throughout. So do stay tuned, obviously, to find out more. My hair is getting wilder and wilder as the show goes on. I should stop with my hands through it. Thanks so much for tuning in and obviously joining us for York Road Project's Big Sleep In. Somebody's come back. We've pretty much already been asked this question, but I'll pose it to you again for those that might have tuned in since. What's the biggest struggle this year? I would say, obviously, COVID-19 has been a bit of a struggle, but Kath, what do you think?
I think I'm going to turn this around. Yeah, we've got the usual ones about getting support from external agencies such as mental health and substance misuse, but I'm going to make it a little bit personal from the team's perspective. Exhaustion. COVID has wiped us out in terms of not being ill, because none of us have had it, but just the keep going, the demands. And what was, for me as chief exec, what was probably the most scariest thing right at the beginning was I didn't have the answers to everybody's questions. And I'm normally the person people look for to say, yep, we'll do that, we're going to do that. But the government, which was changing the guidance literally by the hour, and 1 minute, yep, we can do this, and then it was being withdrawn, and then new advice wasn't put up. And I'm talking in terms of homelessness organisations. And 1 minute we were going to be in the conference centre on mattresses, then that was decided actually that people needed self-contained sort of rooms with ensuite, and so then there was the waiting for the hotel to become available, which was only 2 hours later, but it felt like forever. And I was being asked so many questions. I got to a point where I actually think I had a panic attack, and I'm not a very anxious person, but so I really feel for those people who are, because it's awful. And I lost the ability to be able to think straight. And the team have put in such a phenomenal number of hours, particularly to start with. We're an organisation that works quite well in a crisis. We're quite good at adapting fast. So the first 4 weeks actually was insane hours, but it was almost, some respects, I quite enjoyed it, because all of that really making a difference by providing basic needs, getting people off the streets, getting them into a bed, getting them warm, and fed. But then after that, and to the run up to Easter, I think we all struggled a bit. Then it settled, and then more recently again, a lot of us hit the wall and just thought, how long is this going to go on? So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is how to stay awake during your work hours when you have a report to write.
And well, let's just say Kath loves a report. But nonetheless, obviously, the work that people put in is most definitely recognised. And of course, not only are the local community heroes, but in their view, the staff are also heroes, York Road Project heroes all around the community. And do stay tuned, because we've got a little bit of a funny bedtime story that I've put together for you surrounding York Road Project heroes. Now, Kath, some top tips then. I'm going to be delving into this activity 2, which is design. Without putting you on the spot, what advice would you give to somebody that potentially is sitting there now thinking about what they could potentially design for somebody that's experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping?
I thought we agreed you weren't going to ask me, because I don't have a brain at this time of night.
In terms of ideas, so obviously, you know, we're thinking about things that potentially would keep people warm or help people be fed or drink or whatever out on the streets, but also it could well be something that, you know, transporting something. Is there a common need? Is there something that potentially we have to give to every single homeless person?
I'm not sure I'm the best person, because in terms of a brand new item, because I'm not the most creative individual on the planet. However, I've seen things around the world that I thought have been very good ideas, and one of them has to be like the Amazon lockers. So, but it's not an Amazon locker, but I'm just saying they look like that. So, storage facilities for people in the town, because if you come into us and you've got a bed, then you've got your possessions with you, and you haven't got a lot of possessions, but they come with you. If you leave us for some reason and go back out onto the streets, or you're new to the streets and we don't have any beds, you've got your possessions with you, but you've got nowhere to store them safely. So you could have the very, very most important photograph of your parents or your child or your granny. And if you keep it with you, it might get wet, stolen, or you might just misplace it. How good is it, like I've seen in some, particularly the European countries do this, to have a storage facility where, I don't know, you can go to a certain shop and they give you a token and you pop it in there, or you go get a code and you pop it in there, and you can store your stuff and it's safe. Of course, the downside of this, because I have to think about the disadvantages, is what happens if that person doesn't empty take the stuff with them for some reason. Then you've got lots of storage lockers full of people's stuff. So, I mean, there are some things to think about, but I think that's a very good idea.
Well, there you go. You've just come up with an idea, Kath, and I thought you said you wasn't creative. So me putting you on the spot.
It's not my idea. I stole it.
Woking Borough Council, if you're watching, please do bring us some lockers, potentially somewhere safe in and around the town. You never know who's watching. But thank you so much, Kath. And I will let you go and have some respite then, because we'll be, well, pestering you in a short while for probably your last story before we head into bedtime. But don't worry. Okay. Because we want to make sure that Kath gets an early night so that she's up nice and bright and early in the morning for none other than Misha's fitness session. And boy, are we looking forward to it. Obviously, Kath touched upon earlier on as well the fact that we do have male and female clients, obviously predominantly male clients, but we do have a small percentage of female clients. And of course, there are things that we will require in terms of feminine hygiene products and things like that as well. So, of course, keep a lookout on our website for further lists and information on what we may need as an organisation. That list is updated. Kath touched upon it earlier on. I couldn't hear her, but just to clarify, our wish list is currently flying out. So thank you so much to everybody that's hitting at. And before I've even put some more stuff on, there's more stuff flying out. We will get that updated this evening with more things that we require. So thank you so much for helping us to help them. So the activity this evening then is all about designing something that potentially somebody that's experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping may benefit from. Now, my idea was a pair of like heated gloves that potentially you could also put around a cup to keep a cup warm. But then I thought, well, how am I going to do that? But you might be more creative than I am. So if you've got an idea, why don't you jot it down? Those that have registered to the York Road Project Big Sleep In have worksheets now. Those worksheets will enable you to annotate your idea and capture the idea and send it over to us. If you're playing along at home and aren't registered, then still do send in your ideas. Simply head them over via an email to info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. That's info@yorkroadproject.org.uk. Huge thanks to Mrs. Hardwick and Deirdre O'Reilly for your donations through the Amazon wish list. Huge thanks, Boxer Shorts and Gillette shaving gel on their way. Huge thanks to you. Thank you so much. Like I said earlier on, a huge thanks to the Bisley School. Look at that incredible piece that they made for us for our Harvest campaign. I absolutely love that. In fact, we'll be bringing you the Harvest campaign video in a short while, just because a lot of time and effort went in from people in the local community. So a huge thank you if you were involved in that. And of course, a huge thank you to Bisley School there for that wonderful card they sent in. So during the activity then, looking at the sheet that you have in front of you, we are thinking, now here are some tips. So when you're designing something, design is an approach to problem solving that applies to cognitive activities of design thinking. So design thinking is about a creative process, thinking backwards from people. So that leads to the design of the service. So think right at the end, what do you want your product or service to achieve? What do you want it to achieve? And then work backwards, okay? So if that product or service then has an outcome based on the conclusions of knowledge gathered in your process. So basically think about the things that you want it to achieve and then work backwards. Design does involve putting yourself in the shoes of the user. So think about the client, think about somebody that we would support that's experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping. It could well be a waterproof notebook. I know this sounds silly, but we may need to be able to give them information that they would be able to have to carry around, or a notebook that they would be able to store some things in. So similar to Kath's idea of the lockers, it could be a notebook that makes things waterproof and looks after those valuables that they need to keep safe. That's my idea. But whatever it is, put yourself in the eyes of the consumer, the person that's using that product. Or you could be designing something for a member of staff, something that potentially would help our members of staff deliver their job. Effective designs involve thinking about the context in which that they will be used. Good design observes people in context, and it requires thinking. How will people use this object or service, and in what environment or surrounding will the people use this item or service, of course. So considering the tips, when using your product and or service, what is the outcome? What do you want it to achieve for the end user? So mine would be that they want to be able to keep things safe and they want to be able to document things that they are potentially being told. So phone numbers and valuable information that they might need, bank account information, etc. like that. Then you have to think about the tools and the materials that are needed to be able to deliver that product. So it could well be that mine has to utilize paper, but it also needs to utilize some kind of cellophane or plastic wrapping and some sealant or something that makes sure that it stays waterproof. And then what we need you to do is we need you to storyboard that idea. So basically think about how that item's used and bring it to life, draw it, draw that solution, draw that opportunity that you have, and get it down. Now, we're not asking you to do that all right now. We're asking you to just document that and send it over to us by Sunday afternoon, because we'll be picking our favourites on Monday. And of course, one will be a lucky winner of a goodie bag. So good luck to you if you've registered to the York Road Project Big Sleep In. If you haven't registered, don't fear. You've still got lots of time to get the pack sent over to you. Simply head over to our website, yorkroadproject.org.uk, click on events and register. Once you've registered, you will be sent the activity pack, and during the evening you can take part in the activities and take part in those two competitions, which are how to write a song or a poem So get writing skills on, and of course, storyboarding your design idea. And the last page of our activity sheet is plan the overall look and feel. So be creative, draw what you have in mind, draw that idea, and then name that product and give that product a tagline. So my tagline for my little booklet that keeps everything safe and waterproof might be the safety book or something. I don't know, keeping things safe whilst you're on the move. I'm rubbish. That was terrible. But yeah, think practically, think about the item that you're coming up with, and of course go from there. Also in the activity pack is an incredible opportunity for you to take part in a word search. If you like word searches, get involved right now, because we've got one over there for you. If you missed it earlier on today, the incredible singer-songwriter Abba Canilli performed a song for you. And, well, it's just absolutely incredible that she spends a lot of time supporting us in the local community to ensure that obviously the points are across, and that we are celebrating the fact that there is an amazing charity here in York Road Project, but also that there is a lot of work that goes into supporting those experiencing homelessness. Without further ado, we do have a music video that she has shared with us for you to enjoy. This is the incredible track that is My Shining Star, Yes You Are, here on The Big Sleep In. Thank you so much to Abba Canilli for performing this earlier on, but also for sharing this musical video. We hope you enjoy.
I know what you're going through, and it breaks my heart. All you need to know, that even though there's so much pain and so much hurt, you are loved. Never lose your faith, never lose your hope. This is just a phase. You come out stronger, we'll be by your side. And you realize that you are, you're my shining star. Shine so bright everywhere you go, and in my heart you are not alone, 'cause you're my shining star. Shining star.
A huge thanks to Abba Canilli for sending that over, and of course performing earlier on today during the Big Sleep In. We are slowly but surely coming towards the end of the evening, and a huge thank you so far to everybody that's been involved. I genuinely do not know how I'm going to stay awake for the rest of the evening. I think, well, I've got 10 hours left to go, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. We've got loads of jam-packed to see what I did there, interviews, because I will be catching up with Mary Tobin, the jam maker, of course, in the first hour. So if you've got any ideas for songs that involve the word jam, then let me know, because I'm going to try and squeeze them in. Terrible. Right, welcoming back then for the last couple of stories is the incredible Chief Executive of our charity, Kath Stamper. Kath, how's the big sleep-in been for you so far?
It's going okay, and I don't envy you though staying up. I keep looking at my watch thinking, oh, we've got an hour, and then I can snuggle down on the floor with my duvets and things. So my son has gone to Scotland camping and stolen the roll mats, so it'll be on a duvet and then another duvet and lots of snuggly pillows, so I'll be all right.
You'll be fine. It's going to be no problems at all. There's been so many charities and organisations that have been kind of showing their love and support for York Road Project. One organisation being Mazzato, Beanies Mazzato, we'll give them a shout out. But how valuable is that? How important is that we continue those relationships with such incredible organisations that are up and down the country doing some great things for homeless charities?
I mean, Mazzato is astonishing. So we've been involved with Mazzato Jones for years now. I think we were one of the first charities they started working from. So he's a designer based up in the country somewhere, and his idea was, he does a lot of knitwear, was to have if you bought a beanie off him, then he would donate one to a homeless charity. And these are good quality beanies. They're not just I don't know, ones off the market or whatever. So this has been going on for years now, and I don't know how many we've had. I've lost count. And in fact, most of the staff have Mazzato beanies and bobble hats and things on as well. I've actually got because they diversified for to do with COVID, and so I bought a face mask with bees on it, because I have beehives in my garden. So I mean, it is wonderful. They do so much. And in fact, I tweeted a photo the other day of my daughter-in-law on the top of Ben Nevis. They just spent 4 hours walking up, and what she didn't realise, but I could see, is that she had a Mazzato bobble hat on, which I thought was really good. But it means that for every beanie they donate to us is one less we have to buy. And of course, it's so important to keep people's heads warm when it's cold. We all wear our bobble hats. So if you go on their website and buy one of these Mazzato hats, and they donate a beanie to a homeless charity, and they work with about 5 across the country, and we're all small little organisations, so it makes such a difference. So yeah, it's really, really important.
There we go. And you can see that website on the screen there. There's just 3 of the beanies that Mazzato Jones sells. To find out more information on them, and of course other organisations that we are supported by, we will be providing you information on our website, yorkroadproject.org.uk, over the next 48 hours. But that's Mazzato Jones. You can find his information at Mazzato, that's masato.co.uk, and click on homeless support. There we go. Thank you so much to him and the team of volunteers as well at his organisation that keep his organisation going and are doing great things. So Kath, obviously you've told us stories of people that have been through the system, that have got through and obviously housed and things. There are obviously challenging circumstances for many organisations that are working with people that are experiencing homelessness. But the one thing that we touched upon earlier on was that forgiving attitude, that chances, the number of chances that we kind of continue to provide people until we get it right, until our message gets to them, and of course until they work closely with us to defeat the challenges that they are potentially living with, because it's not just about them being homeless, they have to be ready to be housed as well, don't they?
Yeah, and I think who am I to judge? It comes back to what I said earlier about who knows what I would do if I was in a situation. I think I'd burst into tears and roll up in a ball, or I'd be an absolute nightmare. I could potentially be incredibly challenging with all these rules that we as an organisation have to have in place in order to keep everybody safe. But sometimes I can imagine it feels a little bit sort of institutionalized, if you like. And that's an interesting point. You know, if we're not careful, us as an organization and us as a team can create a bit of dependency. And so we have to be very careful. There's an interesting statistic of our night shelter, really random. I couldn't work out why the average length of stay in the night shelter, bearing in mind it's a 21 night license. Now that's due to funding, not to do with us. And quite often we keep people a lot longer than that. But if somebody's going to abandon their bed and just disappear, it's going to be day 19. And we spend a lot of time thinking about this. Why 19? Why not 17 or 20 or whatever? And after some real thinking and sort of talking to the clients, what became apparent is that day 19 is when they start worrying about the end of their license. And so they abandon us before we abandon them. And just think about that for a minute, about that's the only way they can gain control. Because what we find is people actually don't want to leave us, because what we do provide amongst all those rules is some security and stability and definitely consistency. And the way the shelter is, and one of the reasons we're really looking forward to moving into bigger premises, you know, in a couple of years, is our night shelter is very small, and the communal area is tiny for a lot of people. So we have to be very, I guess, rigid in how we can deliver our services. But what that translates into is you come in at that time, you eat at that time, the doors lock at that time, you go to bed at that time, you get up at that time, you leave at that time, almost to the point I sometimes feel that we tell them what time they can breathe. Now, whilst initially we'll get a lot of people fighting it and breaking the rules or pushing the boundaries, and that would be me, definitely. I'd be saying, no, I don't want to go to bed now. After a while, it becomes completely safe, and they know how it all works and how they fit in, and that provides that security. But then they don't want to leave, and because we've got them in this little bubble, and then they know that on day 21, because we've got people in a queue waiting, that we're going to say, I'm sorry, we haven't managed to find you any accommodation this time, so you're going to have to leave to let someone else in, but you can come back in due course. So what happens is on day 19, if that happens, they leave us. Fascinating way of working in terms of sort of psychology, if you think that deeply, which is probably a bit late to be doing that, but this sort of thing really interests me. So one thing we've done to try and sort of alleviate that is by changing our license agreements slightly to say, sort of informally, if we don't have a big queue, and if you're working hard towards some sort of semi-concrete plan, then we will extend your bed. But that's not ideal either, because what you're doing is you're keeping people on a sort of piece of string, really. There's no guarantee, and uncertainty, I think, brings out some really sort of, I'm not going to say disturbing, but odd behavior in us all, because we like to feel secure in every aspect of our life, and not knowing whether tomorrow I'm going to be told I have to leave my bed must be, you know, it's almost like we're re-traumatizing people. However, the positive is that if planning permission is given for our new premises in due course, which I'm sure it will eventually, we will have a big review of our license and go back to the commissioners and say, actually, do you know what? This 3-week lark is just as damaging. So let's try a different way. And I feel sure that we will succeed in providing a much more stable environment, bearing in mind, though, that it can't be permanent. We are not permanent. We are not home. And I wouldn't want anybody to think that living in sort of temporary short-term accommodation is normal. There's nothing normal about it. You know, you don't have somebody coming in the morning telling you to get out of bed, and then, you know, checking whether you've got, I don't know, illegal substances in your pockets. That's not normal life. And what we want to do is provide people with what we have. Sitting like me, I'm sitting on my settee in my living room with pictures of my family and places I've been, etc. behind me. How wonderful is it to help somebody else achieve that, just like I've got it. They're no worse people than me, and I'm no better than them. So there's a lot of work going in all the time to York Road Project, and a lot of reviewing what we do. And one of the things that we have done, and I don't know, Stephen's probably going to shut me down now, but is we are what is known as a PI organisation. So our approach is one of psychologically informed environments. Have I got time, Stephen, to talk about this?
Yeah, go on.
So the basis of PI, so I said psychologically informed environments, Google it, it's very fascinating, is about everything around us, not just the physical environment, but also the emotional environment. There's a lot of approaches with working with marginalised people, strength-based, asset-based, client-centred. Well, what we felt was PI encompasses it all and fits in with what we're doing. And one of the particular reasons why it works, we feel, is it doesn't just focus on the client, it focuses on the staff team as well. With the understanding that all of us human beings react to other people, maybe appropriately or not appropriately, but the reason we react in that way is because of stuff going on with us. So a simple example, a client may be angry and shout at me, and instead of, without thinking, then I may use my power as being the chief exec and saying, right, I'm sorry, that's enough, you go. But actually, it wasn't about the client. If I took a step back and reflected on what I was feeling and my behaviour, what actually he'd done is reminded me of somebody shouting at me when I was 14 or something at school and made me feel small. So that's just an example. So as a staff team now, we take time to reflect, and we actually are supported by a clinical psychologist for monthly sessions to really review what has happened and spend time looking at maybe an incident or something else going on in the team. And I would encourage any of you to really look into PI, because it's about us as well. It's not just about us having all the power and the clients having none. It's about trying to balance this up and recognizing that my behavior and my approach may well trigger the client I'm talking to. It sounds really complicated, so read up on it and you'll find actually it makes a lot of sense. And since we've implemented PI, I think we've really benefited, particularly through COVID, and are listening to ourselves as well as our clients at the same time.
Amazing. Kath, thank you so much. We're going to ring the first of our raffle winners, picked at random by the system. You can stay with me, Kath, because we're going to ring this person, see if they answer, see what happens. Please answer if you are the winner.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for.
Well, we should definitely leave them a message, shouldn't we, Kath? Let's leave them a message.
Please leave a message after the tone. When you finish recording, please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
Hello, this is Stephen from York Road Project, giving you a quick call to let you know
that you have won a prize in our raffle.
So congratulations, and we'll drop you an email to let you know how you can claim your prize. Thank you. Well, there you go. That's the first person. They was probably too shy to answer their phone.
I hope they're not in bed.
Well, they've selected. We have given them a caveat that we told them that they choose whether or not they can be called or not. The next winner has chosen not to be woken up, and that winner is Sean Connor. Thank you so much to you, Sean. And let's go now and pick the next one at random. Just waiting for the system to go and do their thing. Oh, right, here we go. This is the next person. Being very, very quick here. If you are the winner, answer your phone. Sod's law.
Welcome to the O2 messaging calling service.
We'll leave them another
The person you're
voicemail.
calling is unable to take your call. Please leave your message after the tone. To re-record your message, key hash at any time.
Hello, this is Stephen from York Road Project, and I'm giving you a quick call to let you know
you won a prize in the York Road Project raffle.
Yay, congratulations. We'll send you an email to let you know how you can claim your prize. Congratulations and well done, and thank you for supporting the Big Sleep In. There we go. We do have one more winner, and hopefully it's somebody without a phone number so that we don't have to do that again. But let's see what happens with the rest of on the system. Ooh. Oh, okay. Right, here we go. There is a phone number. Here we go. The last raffle prize then, and then we're going to be heading into a last story from Kath before I take you through a little bit of a fun Big Sleep In. Oh.
Hello.
Hello, it's Stephen from York Road Project.
Hello.
Hello, you've won a prize
in our raffle.
Oh, fantastic.
So we thought we'd ring you up and let you know that you've won. So congratulations, and we'll send you an email to let you know how you can claim your prize. Who am I speaking to, by the way? What's your name?
It's Aaron. Thank you, Stephen.
Hi, Aaron. Thanks very much. Well, you are live, so don't say any swear words or anything like that.
I'll try not to.
But York Road Project, what does it mean to you as a charity in the local community?
Well, it's obviously a lot to us because our connection with it's pretty big. So yeah, it's means a lot, and thanks for the call.
No problems at all. Well, thank you very much for taking part, and have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the rest of the sleep in. Thank you.
Thanks, cheers, bye.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm not too sure what he meant by that, the link or something. I don't know. It's all chosen at random. But thank you so much. It just goes to show we could be talking to anybody. We could be talking to somebody that was an ex-client for all we know. But huge thank you to everybody that took part. And, of course, you'll all receive your emails in due course to let you know how you can claim your prize. So thank you. And, of course, there's still an opportunity for you to win with the 2 activities. So the first activity was write yourself a song or a poem. Send them in to info@yorkroadproject.org.uk through the activity sheets. And the second one was to design an item that was kind of potentially valuable to somebody that may be experiencing homelessness. So my idea was in the end, the little booklet that was waterproof that you could store things in and write things in to keep things safe. Kath's idea was like the Amazon style lockers that she stole from somewhere online. But you never know, we might see one of those lockers or something for York Road Project in the town only time will tell, depends what happens. But of course, thank you to everybody that supported us for our journey. And of course, it's an exciting time for York Road Project because whilst it's been challenging and we've been in temporary accommodation, some would say it's been like a bit of a trial, hasn't it, Kath? Because what we want and what we really need is a facility that is all in one, purpose built, fully functional to be able to support our clients. And of course, what we ended up with is a makeshift all-in-one purpose-built facility for our clients.
I mean, of course it wasn't planned, but it has given us quite a good idea of what it's going to be like when we finally do move into new premises, in terms of numbers, in terms of making sure that we've got the processes in place to manage a much higher number of individuals in one place and how things work or don't work. So we've learned a lot. We've made mistakes. And I think it will only help us when we finally do get into the new premises because and will save us a lot of hurt when we get there. And we've realised some sort of quite important things. The idea is when we move into the new premises is that the rooms, the clients' bedrooms will be their rooms and we won't move them around. If the support level needs to go up or down, then it'll be us that increase that and not make the client move to fit us. But also, how do you engage somebody if they've got a room 24 hours? And in our current night shelter, it's actually quite easy because they've got to be out of bed, as I said earlier, because the night staff have to go home. And then the night shelter closes and the day centre opens in different premises. If everything's in one site, which it will be, then how do we ensure that people don't just lie in bed all day? Of course, you know, to start with, if I were them, I'd lie in bed all day. But there's going to be some, and we found this at the hotel. How do we make sure that people still start trying to make changes in their lives? So yes, it will be. It's been a really good practice run.
Bit of a dress rehearsal there. Somebody's been in touch asking about gift aid and what that means on the website. Just very quickly, as if by magic, I do have a little bit of a graphic to show you. So basically, gift aid, we may be able to claim back 25% of your donations from the government. So that is a 25p for every pound that you donate. All that it means is that you need to be a UK taxpayer and you need to have paid 3 times more than your donation in income tax. So if you've paid 3 times more in your donation of income tax, then you would be eligible to donate to us through gift aid. All of the terms, conditions, and all of the information is available on our website. So do check it out. Just go onto our website and search for gift aid and you'll be able to see that there. But 25p for every pound, that's remarkable. And it's a great opportunity for us to bump up the money that you have donated to us today. A huge thanks to everybody that has donated. One person says that there's quite a few pot noodles on their way. Debbie, thank you very much for sending up.
Thank you.
And thank you for participating. A busy night for me, presenting the radio show and adding more things to our Amazon wish list. But it goes to show that here in Woking and the surrounding areas, we do have an amazing community of people willing to get behind such an incredible charity. And I'm really proud to be working here. It's incredible to see the amount of clients that came through the door since the beginning of lockdown. In fact, I think we tripled the amount of clients, didn't we, Kath?
Yeah, we tripled the number of beds overnight in terms of in the hotel versus the night shelter, where we normally have 11, but we had 33 beds. And that includes the pods that we had built. And on top of that, we had another 8 in Travelodge. And I think, you know, I don't know the number now. Apologies for being a little bit behind, but we're well over 100 people that have been through the doors since COVID began. And I think in terms of stories, it's something to say. And that success comes in very different ways. And some of it, a person's success and achievements can never be compared with somebody else's, because however small it may seem to me or you, actually that can be phenomenal. And a really good example is we've got a couple of clients in the hotel who have been with us since March 23rd. Now that's great, you think, wonderful, 7 months they've had beds. But these 2 clients have not stayed in a shelter bed for more than 2 or 3 nights for years. And I'm being honest with you, years. So these are what is probably not very nicely termed entrenched rough sleepers. They live the lifestyle. They can't manage the accommodation. And with these 2, and I'm going to talk about one in particular, a young man who I personally have known in the sector for probably at least 10 years. And unfortunately, what has really caused a lot of his problems is Spice. When Spice was in the area in a big way 3 or 4 years ago, he was only young, and like so many young people, he started taking Spice, and it has really messed with his mental health. And as a result, he's another person who really struggles with being around others. So on March 23rd, when we had to go and find everybody, we never expected him to come in, and he came in. We never expected him to stay for more than a couple of nights, and he did. And month by month, he's still with us. He is on benefits. He cannot manage to claim. He can't deal with the whole sort of rigmarole and of us being in the system, of having to jump through a million hoops. He's a lovely, lovely man. Yes, when his mental health suffers, he will shout a little bit, but believe me, he always comes back and apologizes. In fact, a few weeks ago, I was on my way up Guildford Road to the dentist, and I bumped into him, and we started having a chat. And midway through the chat, he just started screaming at me, and I thought, oh God, this is strange. And off he stropped. On the way back from the dentist, where I had a temporary filling put in because it fell out in COVID, I bumped into him again, but outside Tesco's, and I thought, well, how am I going to deal with this? So I went up to him and I started with, I'm really sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean to. And he actually stood up and said, Kath, you didn't offend me. I keep doing this, and his exact words were, if I carry on, I'm going to get beaten up. So he was probably entering some kind of psychosis. And as I walked away, he shouted down the road, "Love you, Kath." I thought, oh, bless, my little heart broke. But what I'm saying is about him, he has been in the hotel for 7 months now. And for us, that's phenomenal. And I know that the team have some plans with him. We've got a problem in terms of long-term housing. We've got an issue with the fact that benefits, because that if he doesn't claim, we can't claim housing benefit, which pays for our services. But I understand, and I'm not going to say more because I don't know the details, but I understand that the accommodation team are working on something that, if they can pull it off, would be brilliant and would mean that he'd be safe in some longer term accommodation. Because really, though he's managed the hotel actually doesn't suit him. He gets up early and leaves and comes back late because he's got too many people in. But what I would say is his room is spotless. He has 5 toothbrushes, which I find a little bit odd, but they're all in the little rack in the hotel bathroom. And because he's never probably had a toothbrush for a long time, so now he's got 5, and everything's beautiful in his room. So that's a client who is a really odd story, because there is no great big wonderful end of live happily ever after story yet.
Yeah.
But for us, success is he's maintained his bed for 7 months and he's safe.
Exactly, and actually, we're getting through to that individual slowly but surely, and obviously getting
trust.
Getting in to understand them, but also them getting in to understand us, and it's fantastic. Something else that I'll touch upon, I've got pets at home, and of course there are clients that potentially have pets too, and we always kind of forget, but actually we do have clients that have dogs from time to time, and we do what we can to support them as well. So thank you to those that are aware of those dogs and donating dog food. I know it sounds silly, but in fact that does really help us to be able to help them.
I think at one time with the hotel and the COVID, I think we had 4 dogs in at one time. I think there's 1 in at the moment. Yeah, because if you don't take the dog, the owner won't come in, because their dog is their family. So, and I wouldn't. No, I don't have a dog now, but if I had a dog, I wouldn't leave them outside tied to the railings. So yeah, we've got 1 dog, and that's another client who's been with us all the way from March 23rd. Another one who didn't like to stay with us much, but because we've said yes, the dog, he's with us and he's doing okay. The dog's called Arthur.
Oh, I love it! Absolutely
great
fantastic.
name.
It's incredible to be able to see so many people come through. Kath, before I let you go, then we have literally come to the end of the Big Sleep In, but I just feel like it's really important to keep you on and talk to you about these things, so thank you. Tenancy sustainment worker, something that's new to York Road Project, something that I think is very valuable, most definitely, to the organisation, especially as we're moving more and more people into longer term housing, but of course as well the risk of homelessness is still there significantly. This individual coming into that role, what does it mean for York Road Project, and what does it mean for people experiencing homelessness, and of course people that are potentially at risk of homelessness too?
So this is a really positive role for us, because a lot of the work we do is reactive. We deal with the situation. Someone's rough sleeping, so we give them a bed, and we give them a bed, and then we move them into a move on. But it's after the event. So the idea of the tenancy sustainment worker is actually to help people keep their beds. And when I say a bed, I don't just mean a bed and nothing else. I mean it could be a bed in their own property. So we've got a couple of very low support houses, so he's going to start with those. And the idea with those is to set up tenancy training courses. We haven't quite worked out on the name of that, because we don't want to sound too much like a classroom activity. But for any of you who rent a property, there are lots of obligations you have under your assured short hold tenancy, but there's also lots of responsibilities that the landlord has. And quite often people don't seem to know the rights and responsibilities. So this will be helping clients who are about to move on into their own place, what they must do to maintain that, to keep their side of the bargain, but also what the landlord must do. to make sure the house is up to a good enough standard. So once these individuals have left, then Barney is our worker in the role. Barney will follow up with them and keep an eye on them and work with them if they need some extra support in the future, or potentially with the landlord if the client's in agreement, so that if there's a blip, a few months down the line, and we often see blips about 3 months in, somebody gets all sorted, moves into their own place, and then there's a degree of panic at 3 months in, because just because you've got somewhere to live doesn't solve your problems. And also living in your own place can be quite isolating, and all of a sudden your support network, which is us, may have vanished. So Barney's role will be to maintain minimal contact, very light touch, so we're not we're trying to break that dependency, but also not stepping on their toes, and make sure that they understand what they must do to keep their property. Be that, there's obviously pay the rent, but also antisocial behaviour, keeping the music down, or making sure that you're not blocking fire exits. So what we're trying to do is be proactive, because we don't want those individuals, we wave them off into the sunset, and then 3 years down the line they're banging on our door again. Because that's just another, you started again, it's and you've got some poor individual who had it all and is back with us, and if you've been accommodated once, particularly through the council, it's very difficult to get accommodated again, particularly if you've got rent arrears. Rent arrears will stop everything dead. So yeah, this role, we're feeling very positive. It should have started in April, but because of COVID, like everything, it got sort of shoved to one side, and I think it started properly August, so it's still quite new. So watch this space. We're quite interested to see how or if we manage to reduce the number of returning clients to us.
Amazing, thank you. And you telling those stories gives me enough time to sneak off and do my Radio Woking bits and pop back on as well. Fantastic timing. Right, well, we have come to the end of York Road Project's Big Sleep In here on social media this evening. Don't forget to pop back on social media tomorrow morning for Misha's big workout, from the Mayor of Woking's message, and a lot more too. We've got lots of interviews, lots of things coming up over on Radio Woking, so please do head over there. But for my, good night story, this is the York Road Project Heroes. And Kath, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Hopefully this story gets you off to sleep. If not, then do tune into the radio.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks everybody else for taking part today. It makes such a difference, and also for me personally, I find this so heartwarming that the Sleep Out is normally a very successful event, because it's something different, it's a lot of fun, and this is slightly quirky, and Stephen's getting under his blanket now, little blankie.
I'm getting ready.
Thank you so much for taking part and for listening, and enjoy your night. Thank you.
Thank you, Kath. Much appreciated. And I'll get a slap if I ask for money, but of course, please do make a donation at yorkroadproject.org.uk if you can. And if you can't, don't worry. Spread the word, share the love by literally telling people about what we do as an organisation here in Woking and the surrounding areas to support those experiencing homelessness. Thank you so much. And of course, my voice is just warming up, because I've still got 10 or so hours, 12 or, I don't know how many hours I've got those left. I've got loads of hours left. I'm still going to be here through the night, keeping you company at Radio Woking for the Big Sleep In takeover. And of course, we are on the jamming hour for Mary Tobin. We've just heard her interview over there. And of course, there's thousands of you listening, so thank you so much, and I look forward to keeping you company through the night. I'm quite scared, to be honest. Right, let's go over then to the York Road Project bedtime story, and then don't forget, tune in Radio Woking, DAB, online, and via the Radio Woking and tuning apps. And of course, if you've got a smart speaker, ask it to tune into Radio Woking now. Right, here is the story that's due to get you all to sleep on those cosy floors, and I've got my blanket ready, but of course I can't go to sleep. In fact, I might have a slice of Madeira cake. I think I've got something there to keep me going. And a cup of coffee. Shh. Right, stay tuned. This is the Big Sleep In. York Road Project. So, are you a York Road Project hero? That's the big question. Sue is a York Road Project hero because every time she shops on Amazon, she donates 0.5% on all eligible purchases thanks to Amazon Smile. Thanks, Sue. Amira noticed that there was someone rough sleeping in the local area. So Amira is a hero because she quickly reported this on streetlink.org.uk so they could help the person in need. Thank you to Amira. Josh was made homeless after his friends could no longer let him stay on their sofa. Josh is a hero because he sought help quickly, and York Road Project managed to get him home to Bristol with his family via a train. I'm sure there's more heroes. There's one there, right over there. It's Joey. Joey is a York Road Project hero because every year he sets up a fundraiser on Just Giving and raises money by doing something amazing. Do you know what he did this year? Well, Joey is catching up on the Big Sleep In. So thank you very much, Joey. And, well, the support is very much appreciated. Now, we all know about Mary making jam, but for the story, Mary's name is Lizzie. Lizzie makes jam, and she decided that a percentage of the sale would be donated to York Road Project. Lizzie raised an amazing £360 and is obviously a hero for York Road Project. Here's one that's going to make you laugh now. Nigel the barber. He pops in from time to time to help us by cutting people's hair. Nigel is a fantastic barber, and he is also a York Road Project hero. Whoops. That makes me giggle every time. And Alex, thank you, Alex, because you're a York Road Project hero because you're taking part in the Big Sleep In 2020. Being a fundraiser is fun and can be so rewarding. So thank you very much for joining us this evening for the York Road Project Sleep In. Jennifer decided that she was going to donate £20 via the York Road Project website. It took 2 minutes and she is now a York Road Project hero. And Joe's now a hero after purchasing some items from us on our Amazon wish list, just like some of you did this evening. Well, hopefully I'm not losing my voice because I've got a radio show to do. But thank you so much for tuning in this evening to the Big Sleep In here with York Road Project. And well, it goes without further saying that we can't do it without you, the local community. So thank you so much. And I look forward to welcoming you over at York Road Project's Big Sleep In takeover on Radio Woking. Wow, look, it's a hero. Well, you are all heroes too. Thank you for your continued work in our local community. Good night. The team at York Road Project are no strangers to homelessness. Being aware of the 29% rise in homelessness across the UK, it was evident that we were going to be busy during the COVID-19 pandemic.
People can become homeless for lots of different reasons. There are social causes of homelessness, such as lack of affordable housing, poverty, or unemployment. Life events can also cause individuals to become homeless. However, being homeless can in turn make many of these problems even harder to resolve.
Could you help us defeat homelessness locally? York Road Project is a local charity supporting people experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping, providing guidance and support through our outreach works and suitable accommodations to get people back into a routine.
We provide each client access to safe and secure short-term accommodation in our temporary facility in Woking. A bed for the night with everything our clients need, including a healthy meal. We quickly adapted as a charity, enabling You're tuned in to the York Road Project takeover for the Big Sleep In here on York Road Project takeover. With thanks to the support of you, our funders, and Woking Borough Council. You'll hear that we are operating very differently at the moment, but our work continues. This is the Big Sleep In takeover for York Road Project here on Radio Woking. Up next, it's the Jam with That's Entertainment. Yes, we're playing songs that are related to Jam for Mary
We
Tobin,
believe that
raising
everyone
money
has
for
the
us,
right to a
selling
home,
jam.
regardless of
And
the
well, it's
difficulties
absolutely
and
incredible.
issues
To find
they
out more
may
information
face
on the
in their
jam that
lives.
Mary's selling,
We also
head over to our
believe in
website now,
showing those who need support
yorkroadproject.org.uk.
that the
Thanks,
wider
Mary.
community is there to help and to offer hope for a better future.
Help us, help them.
Help us, help them.
Help us, help them. York Road Project work around the clock to provide for those experiencing homelessness or rough sleeping. Fortunate enough to have a local community that support us in our mission to defeat homelessness, we are asking for you to help us as we help them. From fresh fruit, vegetables, potatoes and rice, to tinned foods or toiletries such as shaven foam and sanitary products, anything you can give is truly appreciated and makes a significant impact on our clients' lives.
Please pack up your items in a bag or a box, checking the items you're donating are in date. Once ready, get in touch via telephone or email and arrange with a member of staff to drop your donation off safely to the location that you can see on the screen.
Because for me, at the age of 46, I thought my life was over. Till I come here. So thank you, York Road, to all the staff members. Thank you.
Thank you for helping us to help them. Wishing you a healthy and happy harvest. We are proud to be local. We are York Road Project.
We are York Road Project.
We are York Road Project.
York Road Project.